he is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Good morning and welcome to the Woodward Morning Show here at woodwardsports.com. Thanks so much for tuning in and kicking off your Friday with us. I'm Gabrielle D. Phillips. We also have Jeff Iafrate and Sam Flannel on the desk. JB in the booth and Alex Westfall, our fantastic TD. We have a great show planned for you today. Hey, Jeff, what do we have on the docket?
Well, to start off, we got to talk about those Detroit Tigers because we kind of hinted at it yesterday. But, Sam, what the hell happened? Where was this Tigers team the two prior games before yesterday? And you know what's crazy? Maz brought this up on Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Did not know this stat. The Oakland Athletics have a record of 31-6 against the Tigers since 2017.
That's unbelievable. I mean,
random.
How can you have such dominance over a team like that? I mean, even the 1927 Yankees, some of the best teams in MLB history, I don't think they would dominate a team as much as the Oakland A's have dominated the Detroit Tigers. Honestly, man, as happy as I'm not even going to say happy. As happy as I should be that the Tigers were able to salvage 1 out of 3 from the piss-poor Oakland A's, it almost made me more upset that their bats finally woke up in the third game. I mean, where was this in game 1, by the way, when they got shut out by the freaking Oakland A's terrible pitching staff when Tarek Skubal and Reese Olson pitched a gem? I was actually looking at the box score. You know what really stood out to me from yesterday's game? Javier Baez, of all people, went 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs and stop the presses, a walk. Oh my God, a miracle has occurred. Let's all give it up for Javier Baez. Yay!
Happy for you, man. Very happy for you.
So, I thought hell had frozen over. I mean, because Javier Baez yesterday had a 1,000 on-base percentage, which actually, this is, you want to get really depressed, Jeff? Now that he had a 3 for 3 game with 2 RBIs and a walk, that ups his hitting splits to 226 average, 262 on base percentage, and 334 slugging, which is the equivalent of syrupy piss water mixed with rat poo. That's basically what Javier Baez still is after that great game, which it was a great game, and the Tigers obviously won 9-0. But when you obviously lose your first 2 at home to a terrible Oakland A's team, you obviously have to count on your all-star to right the ship. And Michael Lorenzen, even though he is one of the most fraudulent all-stars I've seen in MLB history, to be fair, he pitched 5 shutout innings, which upped his record to 3-6 and his ERA to 4.03. You know what happened yesterday, Jeff? This is something that I've never seen before, and I kind of coined a new phrase. He padded his stats for the All-Star game. Just imagine if Michael Lorenzen would have got rocked like Eduardo Rodriguez did the game before and walked into the All-Star game with a 2-7 record and an ERA in the 5s. That would have been just
it's hard to argue again.
It would have been one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. But, that's all. And that didn't happen, though. That's why we can only speak in what did happen. And Michael Lorenzen, at the very least, his ERA is almost under 4 now. I guess the bottom line is the fact that as happy as I should be that the Tigers were able to salvage 1, those 2 first losses broke me in a way in which I don't think I can ever return. The only way in which I will have even a slightest bit of hope is if they sweep the Blue Jays. But that's a pretty big ask.
Yeah, and again, for the Tigers at least, what you saw yesterday, it's not necessarily about the losses because they are 6 games out at this point. Just want to double check, make sure. 6 games out of the division. It's not about where they are because you know how I feel about expectations for the Tigers. This doesn't surprise me, but it's the timely losses. Like you have 3 games against the A's and you go 1-2 to a team that, again, we talked about this. I'm going to keep bringing this up. For the worst team in the MLB, the worst team. Their hitting statistics, like RBIs, home runs, the average, everything's so similar to the Tigers. And then when the 2 teams square off, you saw what happened. And you see the record now against the Tigers since 2017, abysmal 31-6. And I don't know if that's, like every team, there's always, like every team has that team that for some reason, for whatever reason, you just can't beat. I don't know why in the regular season. Maybe it's overlooking kind of underestimating the Athletics. Clearly that's part of it. But at least the Tigers can just win a damn game. They won 9-0. Congratulations. Javi Baez, 3 for 3. Congratulations. I don't give a damn what happens the rest of the season. I'm satisfied.
You're satisfied.
Javi Baez going 3 for 3. I'm good.
Going 3 for 3.
I'm good. And walking. I'm good.
It speaks to the randomness of baseball because both things can be true. Javier Baez has been an abject disaster with the Detroit Tigers, but because there's 162 of them, you can legitimately just sprinkle in a great game every now and then. And I'm not even being snarky. He did have a great game, but what does that even matter? Because despite the fact that the Oakland A's, they took 2 out of 3 from the Detroit Tigers, their run differential is historically absurd -236.
That's what doesn't make sense. Like, even the record now, if you look statistically, and I'm not talking, the pitching is middle of the pack. It's like, 15 to 20 in the MLB as a total, in totality. But the hitting and the run differential, that's what doesn't make. They should have a significantly worse record judging by those numbers.
I mean, the Oakland A's, they are 39 games under 500, so -236. That is, that sounds about right. But I think you're referring to the Tigers, who have a -77,
yes.
But they're still only 6 games out of first place, albeit a bad division. But they've been a little bit lucky this year in a lot of circumstances, and they have a bullpen full of middle relievers who are having great seasons, like Jason Foley and Jose Cisnero and Tyler Holton. Those guys are all pitching very, very well. But yeah, by the numbers, the Tigers should have been out of this months ago, and they really aren't a good team. I think Chuck Brewer said it in the chat. The season's been over for 2 months. Technically, you're right, but the Tigers what were they at their best? About 3 games out of first place? I'm never going to poo-poo that, but I am going to poo-poo the fact that they blew a series to the A's.
Yeah, I think they just peaked early on in the season, and everybody gets excited, which rightfully so. We need something to be excited about, and you get an AL Central division chase, but quickly you realize, wait, this team isn't good. and you come back down to earth, and now about 6 games out of the division, Minnesota, Cleveland kind of separating themselves. Sounds about right. And I want to get to some of the people that are joining us this morning. Shout out to Philip C. in the chat as usual. Chuck Brewer, you just mentioned. And we got Booner and Noah,
yes.
2 guys from Woodward Sports. Appreciate those guys for taking the time. Steve O. Baby as well. J. Will Fan. Again, Mike G. Jack Harrington. Coach Walk 37, Lucci and Ryan. Appreciate you guys for choosing us this morning. And I want to get to some of these comments, people commenting on the Detroit Tigers. And I'll get to Chuck's comment, which you already kind of alluded to. He said, Sam, the Tiger season was over 2 months ago. How did you hold on this long?
Just the division being bad. I mean, it was always fraudulent. It was always a fugazi. But if you can even get into the playoffs and win a division, even a bad one, I'm never going to minimize that.
Well, true.
Yes.
And I see this comment too. Let's see. And I appreciate this comment because I guess you have to find a little bit of positive in everything. Happy Camper Harry says, with 162 games, there will be ups and downs. The Tigers are now 23-3 when they have 10 or more hits. Yeah. You get hits with their bullpen and how the pitching's looked. It equals success. But again, how many games are you getting 10 hits? Not often.
Well, if you don't mind, I want to interject. This is something that Booner actually commented, and he's looking at it from glass half full, but I think he's being a little bit naive. Boys, we are 6 games back halfway through the year. Riley Green will be back. Skubal and Erod will be back at full health. We obviously saw what Skubal did in his first start. We're not in a bad spot. And I understand that technically that's true, but you have to feast on the bottom feeders when you get a chance.
I know.
You're never going to get a series the rest of the season except maybe home to Kansas City that is as winnable and as ripe for the picking as going against the historically bad Oakland A's. And despite what happened yesterday, they still lost the series. And as much as we're excited about Riley Green because he was playing very, very well, he was their best position player by far. There's a little bit, I know Ryan Lentz doesn't think this term exists, but there's a little bit of concern with him being injury prone because there is the possibility that in his first 2 seasons, he plays less than 100 games in both of them. And if you remember at the beginning of last year, he was the guy that was supposed to break out. He was the spring training star. But then he broke his foot and missed the early part of the season. This year, he has a stress fracture in his leg. I'm concerned, not about his play, but about his durability.
And again, Coach Walk 37, the real question is, did Jeff watch the rest of The Hangover? I did. It had 40 minutes left of the movie.
Yes.
I finished it.
And how did that go?
It went well. I liked the movie. And now I kind of need to watch Hangover 2. So, JB, I know. You already... Did you bring back home the Blu-ray?
I actually took it out of my book bag this morning.
Okay, so Monday, bring
Monday,
it
I
in,
got you.
and I'll watch too. I'll give you my
I'm sure
review.
you can stream it for free somewhere.
Or I'll find it. Either way, I will watch Hangover 2. So it was that good where I'm watching the next movie. So
Good.
Appreciate you holding me accountable for that.
We do have a giveaway to take care of this
Oh,
morning.
yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So 4th of July, Aiden Hutchinson jersey giveaway, and the winner is...
Who is it?
Do we get like a drum roll? Trent Graham from Instagram, TR3NT Graham. You have
Congrats,
an
Trent.
Aiden Hutchinson jersey, so DM us and we will get that jersey to you.
And again, for whoever won that Aiden Hutchinson jersey,
Yeah.
correct? Good man. Good man. And you get it for free. So, I mean, yesterday you didn't have an Aiden Hutchinson jersey. Today you have one.
Today
and
you
didn't
do.
have to pay anything.
You're
so,
one Aiden Hutchinson jersey richer.
Yep. And you never know. Maybe if Sam Flannel's predictions are correct, that jersey value is just going to skyrocket. Right, Sam?
Oh.
If he's an all-pro next season?
Hey, I mean, he's the most likely on the Detroit Lions, and I stand by that. And furthermore, if you are a Michigan fan, just imagine if Aiden Hutchinson actually takes that leap next year and continues his great career. What a legend in the Michigan's, like the state of Michigan sports scene as a whole that he could end up being. He could have a legend that, at least when it comes to the football in Michigan, that is his legacy as a state of Michigan football player could even usurp Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson if they win, and he's a Hall of Fame D end while being one of the all-time great Michigan defensive players of all time too. So what was his name? Tyler Graham. You are a very, very lucky and fortunate man. Hang on to that jersey. Never let it go. Wear it every single day of your life with pride.
And I see people talking about Threads. I know everybody was getting scared the last couple of days with Twitter and all the updates, and now everyone's jumping on Threads. I finally jumped on. Woodward Sports is already on Threads, and assumingly all my friends are on Threads. So I said, you know what? Why not? It takes me 5 minutes to make one. I am now on Threads at Jeff Iafrate. I'm not going to be on it, but I do have one. So for
Why
whatever
aren't you
reason,
going to be on it?
because I have Twitter. Like, I don't get.
I don't know. I love it.
Unless Twitter completely evaporates, I'll go to Threads. But I like Twitter. I do. But yeah, Noah says Jeff is a big Threads guy. I am not. No,
Noah's the man.
not a big Threads guy. Noah, you might be though. But yeah, that's. Do you have a thread, JB? Did you make one?
So I'm not gonna lie, I have it downloaded on my phone. I have just not opened this app or even started to create a profile or anything. So
Okay.
it's literally on my phone, but I haven't done anything.
So, but
with
you
it.
went through you at least downloaded the app.
I
So
downloaded. So
You got a foot in the
have
water.
it. I have it. I just don't. I'm not on it.
It's okay. Sam, did you get on Threads?
I don't even know what Threads is. I'll be honest.
You know what? This is what happens
So
when
you
you get
have
married.
to watch. You have to watch Hangover 2, and you have to look into Threads.
Is it on the same par as Jeff watched? I mean, Jeff already watched The Hangover,
Yes,
but is it?
but two.
Yeah.
Honestly, it will take you 5 minutes to make Threads. It'll take me over close to 2 hours to finish Hangover 2.
That's
so
a-
if you
that's a
weigh
great
the
point.
if you weigh the positive and negatives, you kind of got it going
great
for
point,
you.
Jeff.
Let's see some of these. I see Threads is the next MySpace. I don't know if that's the way to look. Is that yeah, sure.
I don't know.
Why
People
not?
are kind of comparing them.
Well, Jamcat says Threads censorship is brutal. Well, Threads is, that's a Instagram, Facebook product, so it's Mark Zuckerberg, and we know how Mark is. Typically, at Facebook, Instagram, they don't play. So I would assume that Threads would be like that, but it is what it is.
Do you guys have any fun plans for the weekend lined up? Aside from watching Hangover 2?
I will be going to Drake Sunday. I'm excited for that.
Really?
Yeah, going to Drake
Yay.
with one of my good friends, Jake.
You know what? You should have mentioned it, and we should have done Drake trivia, and maybe you would have had a chance to win.
Okay, I think that'd be the only way I have a chance to win.
You
Because
would
I don't
probably
think so.
win, but at the same time, I know more about Drake than people think that I know. Maybe not as much
Okay.
as Jeff, but I mean, I was a big fan back in the day,
Yes.
especially with like "Thank Me Later" and
Yeah, and I
yeah.
figured why not? Like, there's things and there's people, and this is like I compare it to sports too. There's players that you have to go see because you don't know the next time you'll be able to see them. And for Drake, I have to go see. He's coming to Detroit. I don't know when the man's next tour is, so I'm just going to check it out.
Hologram.
Yeah, he had a hologram. I don't know, man.
The concert of someone.
Me and JB were talking about this yesterday. He is the most extra dude ever. He is.
But
the hologram of himself handing him the letter. It's funny.
Yeah,
it really is.
A hologram of his younger self on a couch, basically handing him like a book or a letter, and it's like, what?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of.
It's it's Drake. It's fitting.
Yeah.
But also UFC 290s this Saturday, so we're going out potentially. A couple coworkers go watch the fights. Easy will be there too. But I gotta say, I will be there. Okay, before the Hollywood thing gets out. We planned this early, so I will be there on Saturday. Can't wait for that, man. It'll be a good card. But we'll go to break when we get back. I want to get to an interesting topic that Sam brought up, but I couldn't wait to talk about it. And it's Dan Campbell. How important is September? Very simple. How important is September for Campbell and the Detroit Lions? Not only to be, to get a good start, but for the division, in the division chase. We'll get to that next segment. But before we do, JB, can you tell us about our friends over at Big Boy?
Oh, absolutely, because Summer Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy this summer. Try the classic breakfast items like the strawberry hotcakes or the mouth-watering red velvet waffles. But if you're not feeling breakfast, try the strawberry bacon chicken wrap or cool off with a refreshing summer splash salad. But don't leave without trying some dessert. They've got their berry delicious classic strawberry pie, the deep fried vanilla Oreos, and of course the strawberry hot fudge cake, and so much more at your local Big Boy.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here at woodwardsports.com. Thanks for tuning in. We're going into segment 2 here this morning. But before we get things started, make sure you're following us on all social media, including Threads now, at Woodward Sports. And tune back in at 11 a.m. for Big D Energy, 2 p.m. for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, and 5 p.m. for the Woodward Heavyweights.
Man, September's an interesting month. All right, it's the start of football season. Everybody gets excited, at least the regular season. Everybody's excited. The pressure's on. Every team feels they have a chance. They have a chance at something. It's what I love about sports. The beginning of the season, it's the hopium's in the air for all franchises. But the Lions specifically with Dan Campbell, we know September, at least the past 2 seasons, and context does matter because the first season, that team wasn't winning more than 3 games. But you know what? They won 3 games, and it is what it is. But the facts are, Dan Campbell in September, during his Lions tenure, is 1-5.
Yeah.
Like, those are the facts. The context, yeah, it matters, but he's 1-5, point blank. He's 2-7 for his career in September, and that meaning the interim head coach role he had in Miami also factors into that. So 1-5 for the Lions. And I want to ask the question, how important is September this season for Dan and the Lions? Getting off to a good start, because typically they have not done that. 1-6 last year to 8-2. It was kind of the Jekyll and Hyde for the tale of 2 tapes, the 1-6 to 8-2. But this season has to and I think will be different. But Sam, how important is September this season for the Lions?
Well, it's very important, and especially for a franchise like the Detroit Lions. Instead of kind of breaking down each game, I'm going to look at it from a more just macro level of being the Lions and what this September could mean. Obviously, I think that they're going to lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. And after that, you're in danger. I'm not saying they're in danger, but if the Detroit Lions get off to a slow start, which they got home against Seattle, then home against Atlanta, and then at Green Bay, those are their September games, if you also include at Kansas City. That's not necessarily a super easy stretch. If the Detroit Lions start September anything worse than 3-1, 2-2, I think there's a faction of Lions fans, and I'm not saying it's right, who are still a little bit apprehensive, are still kind of scared, not stoked. And if the Lions start the season slow, I think there's going to be the doubt, the SOL mentality is going to creep into some of the fans. I'm not saying the players necessarily, because it is a tougher part of their schedule. But at the same time, getting off to a fast start, that is something that the Lions have never done under Dan Campbell. Obviously, last year they had a lot of growing pains to work out at the beginning of the year. They finished at a torrid pace, but they started so slow that even finishing 8-2 couldn't get them into the playoffs. So even though it's only 4 games, I think it's symbolic for the Detroit Lions. They have to start fast. They have to validate all of the hope that us fans have, all of the confidence that the players have, the coaching staff has. I think they can make a lot of more people feel more stoked and not scared if they start out strong, because if they start out slow and there's any danger of it death spiraling, especially if there's any sort of injuries, it would be one of the more disappointing airs in Detroit. Like, you know how excited we all are.
Yes.
This Lions season, there is the amount of juice and electricity, the likes of which I've never seen, even in the mid-2000s, 2010s, when the Lions were coming off a 11-5 season, losing to the Cowboys. Even that season, even that era, there's not as much juice and hopium as there is flowing now. And the best way to keep the hopium going is get off to a fast start. I'm sure you would agree, Jeff.
Yeah, and the part of that, too, in the context side of things, the Lions have had one of the youngest rosters, period, in the NFL the last 2 seasons. So a lot of that I would blame on youth. I mean, Dan walking into a situation where a lot of rookies played immediately, more rookies played the next season. So I think a lot of that has to do with youth, but this season there isn't really much of an excuse. You added veterans on top of who you have already, guys going into their second, third year. That excuse for youth, I don't think is going to work anymore, at least to start the season. You got veterans. You added CJ. Guys are getting older, more experienced, more mature. Like, they're going into their second year now in the offense with Ben Johnson. You're going to a third year, technically, with Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
So the youth thing you can't use anymore, and that's why I don't think it will happen this season. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because it matters in the NFC North. Like, look around. The Lions' first 4 games: Kansas City, Seattle, on the road to Kansas City, at home to Seattle, at home to Atlanta, and then on the road to Green Bay. I think the floor of that 4-game schedule is 2-2. You can't be any worse than 2-2, because Kansas City, even if you lose to Kansas City, you start 0-1. Fair. Now you got Seattle at home. You got to go win. You have to go win that game. You can't go down 0-2, and I'll explain why. Look across the NFC North. Green Bay's first 4 games: Chicago, Atlanta, New Orleans.
Ooh.
Isn't that tricky?
Yeah.
So a team in Green Bay who no one wants to take serious, you start off with Chicago, Atlanta, New Orleans. I could see them winning all 3 games.
They could.
Especially if Jordan Love is who they think he is. Now, that's the big question mark, but you can't deny they can beat Atlanta. They can beat New Orleans. Like, they can. Now, will they is a different question. Let's move over to the Chicago Bears. First 3 games: Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Kansas City. So Kansas City's a tough one.
Oh, yeah.
But regardless, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, like, you see these toss-up games early on in their schedule. Minnesota's got a tougher one, but they start off with Tampa. They got Philly, Los Angeles, the Chargers. So a little tougher first 3 games. My point is, your schedule at the beginning, the Lions, is much tougher, maybe with Minnesota, compared to the rest of the NFC North. You have to get off to a good start. Now, does the division get won in the first 3 games? No. But getting off to a good start matters, because it's a matter of when, not if, there's going to be injuries. There's injuries for every NFL team. The Lions got really lucky the last 2 seasons, but really last season, on a majority of their guys being healthy. You can't count on that every season. So to start off the way they start off the last 2 seasons, unacceptable. They have to be at least 2-2 the first 4 games, Sam, just to stay alive in this division race, in my opinion.
No, you are 100% right. And I mentioned that Kansas City, I had a whole segment about it the other day where I said that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to beat the Detroit Lions. And no other team in all of the NFL will have an opening game as tough as the Detroit Lions will. And then you even look at the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks were the team that handed the Lions arguably their worst loss of the season. You could argue Carolina. Both of those losses were terrible, but their loss at home versus Seattle was not pretty, at least defensively. And when you look at some of the pieces that they have, obviously Geno Smith, Kenneth Walker, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, that looks like the makings of a pretty explosive offense. And then on defense, remember who they added back? Bobby Wagner. I mean, I know a lot of people forgot about that, but that is a big signing.
That's true.
And their secondary. You got Quandre Diggs and Tariq Woolen, who were Pro Bowlers last year. Jamal Adams, I think people forgot about, coming back from injury. And they drafted Devon Witherspoon.
It's a pretty good secondary.
That is a pretty good secondary. And I think draft Devon Witherspoon coming into that secondary, he will be a guy who's plug and play right away. That's a game where the Lions might miss one Jamison Williams going against that tough secondary. And even you look at the Atlanta Falcons. I know out of all of the 4 games, that is the one that looks to be the most winnable. I think we would all agree, home against the Falcons. But remember what I said about Bijan Robinson. I expect him to come in day one and be a superstar, the best running back in the NFC, and I truly believe that, running behind that offensive line led by Chris Lidstrom. They got a couple of weapons in Drake London and Kyle Pitts, and their defense. They added some pieces, Calais Campbell, Bud Dupree, and Jesse Bates, to supplement a defense that already has Grady Jarrett and A.J. Terrell. And then
hey, you forgot about a very important player.
Oh, Jeff Okudah. There's a reason I didn't include him.
Watch out, but continue.
I am not going to watch out because he will be barbecue chicken that day.
Okay, well.
But Jamison Williams won't be there. Wouldn't that be a perfect day for Jamison Williams to just roast Jeff Okudah? Oh, that's right. He can't. He got suspended. But anywho,
roasted.
Watch it.
I know a lot of people are going to come after me again, but the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. And I know that this is the first time in a long time where you're going to play the Packers at Lambeau Field and their starting quarterback isn't Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre. But this is a crazy stat. And this has nothing to do with the Lions of now. But you know what the Lions' record is in their last 29 games at Lambeau Field?
Talk to me.
4-25.
Jesus.
Which is why I think what they did going into Lambeau at the end of the year, that was symbolic, vanquishing some demons. But at the same time, Lambeau Field is never a gimme. And the Packers have some nice pieces, especially in the backfield and on defense. So it's a pretty tough stretch. The Lions have to stay focused, and they have to, at absolute minimum, go 2-2. 3-1 would be ideal,
yes.
But you can't just look ahead of some of these teams like Atlanta and start the season 1-3, or else there will be a lot of doubt amongst fans particularly, but maybe even amongst the players and the coaching staff.
And I want to ask, too, because you brought up that stat for the Packers at least, I wonder what Dan's record is against the Packers. I know they beat them twice last season, and they beat them once the prior year. So what is he 3-1?
3-1
against the Packers. So, and that was with Aaron Rodgers, your guy. So yes. You would agree that with Jordan Love his first year, it's a downgrade at this point.
Well, one of the one game in 2021, didn't Aaron Rodgers just play one series? They already wrapped it up. And
great. You know what? I was there. A great point, because he left the game. Jordan Love came in, and what happened? Tracy Walker picked him off. So maybe foreshadowing a little bit of what's to come. Who knows? But I'm with you. I think 3-1 is the most ideal scenario, because even Kansas City, it's hard for me, and as Neil would use the term, bricked up. It's hard for me to be bricked up about going to Kansas City and planting my flag that the Lions are going to beat the Chiefs. It's hard, but you could make a case. I think they should be not as bad of an underdog as they are. We talked about that yesterday, but I'm not going to sit here and say the Lions will win that game. But Seattle, Atlanta, Green Bay, you got to win those games. Like Seattle, especially at home, I understand what Seattle is, but you got to avenge the loss from last season. I don't know if this entire season rides on Kansas City, but the next 3 games, listen, and you've said this before too about the Tigers. You can't win a division in the first 25 games, but you can lose one.
Yes.
Same thing with the Lions. You can't win the NFC North, but I'm telling you, the first 5-6 games, you can for sure lose one. And if you put yourself in too deep of a hole, it's going to be hard to climb out of it, Sam. But even in a bad NFC, so I think getting off to an important start in September, they have 4 games in September: Kansas City, Seattle, Atlanta, Green Bay. You got to be 3-1.
No, you're basically telling the story of last year's Lions team, except the difference is last year's Lions team wasn't expected to do anything. If the Lions get off to a bad start with the weight of the expectations that they have, that'll be something different. They obviously already proved that they can finish a season strong, but what they did, which you alluded to, they did lose any chance they had at going to the playoffs by starting 1-6. They basically had to play perfect football the rest of the year, and that is unrealistic for anyone to play in a 10-game stretch, even for a team like the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm. And I want to get to some of these comments before we go to break. Happy Camper Harry says, we are after the Super Bowl. We beat the Chiefs. Will be affirmation how good we are. We lose. Will be great goal. Will be a great goal throughout the season to get to. Yeah, that's fair as well. Charles says, but Goff has never lost in Green Bay for as bad as the Lions think Goff is. Interesting. And just to get to some more of these comments, Chuck says, we don't show our playbook week 1. We're going to hide plays to use versus Kansas City in the Super Bowl when we win it.
There we go.
Hey, Chuck, now you're on to Chuck. Now you're on to something. Smart man. Let's see. It Hip says, Green Bay is not going to be better. You're crazy, referencing Brandon Katz saying Green Bay will be better. Jordan Love is not a downgrade from a 39-year-old Rodgers. So you're assuming that Jordan Love will come out and throw. What did Rodgers have last season? Like 25 touchdowns, 11 picks?
He had 26 and 12.
26 and 12. Is Jordan Love getting that? You put money on it?
No.
Okay.
I'm not putting money on it. I mean, he could be good, but nobody knows anything.
Right.
That's the thing.
That's my point.
By the way, Jared Goff did lose in Green Bay. Monday Night Football of 2021.
Yeah, that was the game. I think it was tied 17-14 or 17-17, I believe, at the half. It was something like that. And they didn't score the second half. Yeah. I think the Lions did or didn't. That game was frustrating to watch because that was early on, too. You look back, a lot of games the Lions had early in the season. Minnesota last season on the road, they had in the bag until KJ Osborne was wide open because Tracy Walker went down and they didn't. It was whatever. It's besides the point. They're capable, and I think they will do it. We'll go to break when we get back. I want to bring up this head coach, ranking list that CBS put out, and I'm not going to say where they have Dan Campbell, but we'll see if you guys disagree or agree with this list. But before we do that, Sam, can you tell us about our friends over at Swiss Insurance?
Absolutely. If you are planning or sponsoring a golf outing this year, ask Swiss Insurance about hole-in-one putting contest and $1 million shootout coverage. For a very affordable amount, you could give away a huge prize like $10,000 or a new car. Help build your business with big ideas. Check out Swiss today, swissins.com, or call Mark at 248-800-4177. That is 248-800-4177, Swiss Insurance.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here at woodwardsports.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. Gabrielle D. Phillips, Jeff Iafrate, Sam Flannel, JB, and Alex in the booths. And if you're watching this episode live on YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're watching on the website, check out our clips, previous live episodes, merchandise, articles, and more. And if you're listening after the fact, wherever you're listening to your podcast, download this episode and leave a 5-star review.
When you think of Dan Campbell and where he ranks among NFL head coaches, and I've had this conversation with Adam in the past too, where I feel like he's ranked. To me, what he's shown through 2 years, it's hard. That first season, 3-13-1. I mean, it's hard to buy a lot of stock in Dan. But the second season, 9-8, the 8-2 finish, despite the 1-6 start, I do think Dan has risen up the coaching ranks, at least where he's ranked in the NFL. I have more faith in Dan, obviously, than I had year one. And before Alex and I put the graphic for you to put up, but I don't want it up yet. I want to go through some of the coaches that are ranked above him and just see what everyone thinks. We'll start with one. Andy Reid, according to CBS, he's the #1 coach. No disagreeing with that.
No disagreeing.
Okay. #2, Kyle Shanahan. #3, Bill Belichick. #4, Sean McVay. #5, John Harbaugh. Any problems?
No, I just think maybe Kyle Shanahan at 2. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, at some point, they need to actually win a Super Bowl. Just to be fair. But he's also
But he's probably done the most with less, you could argue.
Well, he's also one of the brightest young offensive minds in the NFL. Probably the brightest at this point.
Absolutely.
I'm okay with that,
so
I suppose.
there's the top 5. Now, John Harbaugh at 5 and Mike Tomlin at 6. Interchangeable, in my opinion. I don't care. I don't mind it. Top 5's fine. Now, we'll get down the list a little bit, and I'll just go through. I'll kind of pick apart some guys because I'm not going to go through the entire list. 9 is Pete Carroll, to give you an idea. So he's at 9, and then we'll go a little farther down. You have Mike Vrabel at 13, Zach Taylor at 14. 15, you have Brian Daboll, 1 year with the Giants, by the way. Remember that. 1 year, 9-7-1. He's 15. Okay. 16 Frank Reich, 17 Kevin O'Connell. Again, 1 season, 13-4. The fraudulent Vikings, he's 17. So we get a little more down this list. 19 Mike McCarthy, 20 Kevin Stefanski, 21 Ron Rivera, and sitting at 22, Alex, could you throw this graphic up? Dan Campbell at 22. There you go. And the description they put, obviously his career record, and it says third season with Detroit, third as head coach, meaning, now I guess if you don't count the interim head coach, it would be his third season. It writes here on CBS, a walking embodiment of testosterone. Campbell's fiery optimism finally translated to wins in 2022, and his late-year staffing changes helped fuel defensive strides. Now his challenge will be meeting expectations, ensuring quarterback Jared Goff is protected while the Lions try to capture their first NFC North title in 30 years. Now, the reason why, and again, Dan Campbell at 22, if you're talking about career records, fine, 17, 28, and 1. It's comparable to some of these other guys. I don't think it's fair, because you look at Kevin Stefanski, you look at Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll is the only one that I would listen to, because Brian walked into a situation that wasn't great. The Giants roster isn't all that impressive. They have guys, Saquon Barkley, they have a pretty good secondary, they have a pretty good defensive line, but it's not a ton of marquee guys. It just isn't. And Daboll still 9-7-1 with Daniel Jones at quarterback. That man deserves an Oscar just for that alone. And you win 9 games. But he's 15. Dan Campbell last season went 9-8. And despite the 3-13-1, Sam, I don't think he should be as low as 22. I think Dan deserves a little more respect because of how the Lions looked last season. If we're taking into account last season, the 1-6 start, I understand, but you got to factor in that 8-2 stretch where they were, again, offensively, still one of the best teams in the NFL offensively, but they were one of the hottest teams in the NFL at the end of the season, the last 10 games. So I think that matters, but 22 is a little low in my opinion, but we're at this point nitpicking.
Well, this is the classic case of many, many things can be true. Dan Campbell, I think we would all agree, we would all approve of the job he did last season with the Detroit Lions. Obviously, in 2021, they won 3 games. They tripled their win total in 2022 and got to 9. That cannot be overlooked. That cannot be questioned. And Dan Campbell, he seemed to mature as a coach as the season went along, especially opposed as to the season before, where he was making smarter decisions. And obviously, I think his best move as a coach ever was when he fired his friend, or he demoted his friend Anthony Lynn, and empowered Ben Johnson. The rest is history. The offense has basically been humming ever since then. So Dan Campbell, I think he deserves credit, because I think on the previous season's list, after the 3-13-1 start, he might have been ranked last.
Right.
And I wouldn't have even really had a leg to stand on when it comes to defending that. So he definitely improved a lot, and he's ranked at 22. I think, along with a lot of Lions players, you're going to look at this list next season and see Dan Campbell ranked much, much higher on the list than he is now. But the reality of the situation is Dan Campbell is still, when it comes to NFL head coaches, relatively unproven. They did not make the playoffs. I mean, there's some names ahead of them that on surface value, they seem egregious, but when you look a little deeper, 21, Ron Rivera. I would take Dan Campbell a million times out of a million running my franchise right now over Ron Rivera, but Ron Rivera, as the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, guided that team to a Super Bowl. I know Cam Newton had that MVP year, but that defense, and that's Ron Rivera's calling card, that Luke Kuechly, Josh Norman, Thomas Davis-led defense, that was pretty good too. And you even look at Kevin Stefanski. Obviously, the Browns didn't look that good last year, but Kevin Stefanski was the coach that led the Cleveland Browns to their first playoff win in years. With Baker Mayfield, and more so Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, in my opinion, but still. And then you look at Mike McCarthy. As much as we all kind of laugh at Mike McCarthy now, when you look at his resume, you could argue that he's one of the most unfairly disrespected coaches that I can remember. And this is actually under his description. He has led teams that he has coached to 10 separate double-digit winning seasons and a Super Bowl. I get it, it was with Aaron Rodgers when he was at basically the peak of his powers, but still, he has a resume. You even look at Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel, in his first year, had the exact same record as Dan Campbell, 9-8,
right,
and they made the playoffs, but he, along with, I think, the addition of Tyreek Hill, which was huge, obviously, managed to scheme an offense that made Tua Tagovailoa, who was, I'd say, worse than mid his last couple of years, win when he was on the field, he was a Pro Bowler. He was fairly elite. And
but can I make that argument too? Because for Mike McDaniel at 18, and again, it's not about arguing, Dan should be top 10, but I think he should be higher, but more so the conversation is, I think after this season, he'll jump on this list. I do believe that, because some of the guys that are ranked in front of him, like you brought up, and I'll get to Mike McDaniel in a second, but Brian Daboll went head-to-head. What happened?
Okay, but Brian Daboll was freaking Coach of the Year, man.
I understand that, but this is why I think the first season Dan had, where he went 3-13-1, is weighing heavily on this and factoring this in, because you just brought up Mike McDaniel, what he did for Tua. Are we not going to talk about what Ben in that offense, which Dan had his hands in, did for Jared?
Sure.
Jared was considered was a throw-in to that trade package for Stafford, and he put up Pro Bowl numbers.
That's fair, but playoffs do matter, and I know that they had the same record, but that goes to, you can credit Dan Campbell for them finishing the season strong, but you can't also absolve the 1-6 start, which included, in my opinion, him playing a huge role in blowing that game at Minnesota with his clock management. And I didn't even mention Kevin O'Connell. You know how I feel about the Minnesota Vikings and how fraudulent they were. Mm-hmm. The bottom line is they were still 13-4 and won the division. You have to get credit for that, even though I'm not sure of the role he played. I think Kirk Cousins actually looked worse with him as the head coach in the previous year. But getting to the playoffs and winning divisions matter, and resume matters. And right now, Dan Campbell's is relatively bare, although I think he gets a ton of credit for helping turn around the Lions team very, very quickly. And like you said before, and like I said before, on next year's list, when they actually win the division and win a playoff game, he will be much higher. He will probably be top 15, and I will have no problem with it.
Yeah, it's going to be this season. I think that it comes down to, I'm not going to sit here and argue why he should be higher right now, but the fact that you're factoring that first season with Dan, the 3-13-1 record, that's why he's 22. So I know the why, but the conversation I want to have is where he'll be at the end of the season. He's going to be significantly higher, because you look at least the progress the Lions have made. You look at the team that they have currently is constructed. Dan is one of the favorites to win Coach of the Year. It's not just me that feels this way. Dan's stock is rising, and people are now turning their heads at what Dan and Brad are building in Detroit. And 22, in my opinion, is too low right now. But if you factor in the 1-6 start, the 3-13-1 record in his first season, it makes sense. But to me, there's a little more context there. I don't think he's the 22nd most talented coach. But you talk about record, situation, I get why. But he's better than a lot of these coaches in front of him, I think.
And that's fair, especially a guy like Ron Rivera, who I think was never that great to begin with, but has lost his touch a bit. But then when you dig into his resume, you're kind of
he's got how many years more as a head coach than Dan?
And more success. And even Mike McCarthy. Obviously, moving forward, I would much rather have Dan Campbell, but he's another one who's just got such a resume that he obviously has to be ranked ahead of Dan Campbell. And even given his resume, he's probably too low. But on the other hand, I think Dan Campbell has a tremendous shot to win Coach of the Year this year, especially if he leads the Lions to their first division title, the Detroit Lions since 1993.
Oh, he'll be top 15.
He will not only be toast of the town, he will be toast of the national media. And I think also, given the fact that it's the Lions in the narrative, you could absolutely see Dan Campbell winning Coach of the Year and being way higher on this list. I mean, you said Brian Daboll, he's 15, and I think that's a good ranking, because winning Coach of the Year, that matters. That is a tremendous achievement, and I think Dan Campbell has as good a shot of any to do it this next year.
And again, just to look at some of these comments that people are talking about, Steve O'Baby says, "I'm sorry guys, but I can't trust the Lions. They've let me down for 31 years. I have to see it to believe it from Dan Campbell, but that's not fun. The wait and see thing, and I get why, Steve O. Trust me, I understand. But that's not fun. As a fan, you have to have hope. And Lindsay had this conversation yesterday on Big D. It's fair to be stoked. It's fine to have these expectations, because you see what the Lions have. Consensus, I mean, they have a top, 4 roster in the NFC?
Oh, yeah.
So by that metric, you're a contender in the NFC. That's how that works. You're a top 5 roster, top 4 roster, you're a contender.
Yeah, but he's talking about we have to say Super Bowl or else we're not stoked. I mean, Lindsey Hunter, he's a 49ers fan. But this, I mean...
Well, the goal every year is to win a Super Bowl.
I know, but at the same time, he's acting like, the 49ers, we only are happy if we win Super Bowls. I mean, have I missed the ones that they've been racking over the past 25 years? Or was their last Super Bowl win when Lindsey Hunter was in his second year in the NBA? When Steve Young was the quarterback? That's also true. So this idea that San Francisco has been this just model of winning over the past 25, almost 30 years is a bit of a fallacy, and that's why I kind of mentioned. Then that's why I mentioned that Kyle Shanahan being at number 2 maybe is a little bit high. And I'll also never forgive Kyle Shanahan for playing a big role in the Atlanta Falcons blowing that Super Bowl to the fucking Patriots with his play calling. He's a great coach, but win something big, 49ers.
You know what I think Kyle Shanahan needs? More than anything, get over to Planet Fitness. Why doesn't he?
Oh, to Planet Fitness, of course, because I mean, Kyle Shanahan, he's looking pretty good, but he needs to get more jacked, like
Dan Campbell,
of course, like Dan Campbell. Definitely not like me. But Planet Fitness is committed to providing a safe and comfortable place to work out all summer long. Planet Fitness has all of the amenities, and you get all of that for just $10 a month. A 30-minute circuit, 30-minute workout, still for only $10 a month. That is an absolute steal. Or you can upgrade to the Black Card and get all of the great amenities for only $24.99 per month. And teens between the ages of 14 through 19 can still work out for free the rest of the summer. You go in, register today, you get access to the club today, you get it all the way until August 31st. You still have almost 2 months, and that is plenty of time to make a big progress in your fitness journey. Join today in club or online, or visit planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. Oh yeah.
Bro, what the?
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Your childhood may be over, but certainly playtime is not. Outdoor Equipment Company is your source for outdoor power equipment, sales, service, and parts, carrying top brands such as Bad Boy, LS Tractor, Stihl, and much more. They service the Great Lakes region with locations in Metro Detroit and Greater Lansing. For more information, visit them at OutdoorEquipco.com. Outdoor Equipment Company, your power equipment playground. We're back here. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network, and we just got done talking about Dan Campbell and where we feel he ranks or will be ranked at the end of the season amongst other NFL coaches. But we're going to do something new this segment. And JB, you could keep the music going, because I want to go around the NFL, and this is stock, you're buying or selling edition. We're going to go through some teams. I'm going to ask Sam, and I'll ask everybody else in the room, are you buying stock or are you selling stock? And I'm going to bring up teams in the NFL, meaning you're buying stock, you think they're going up. You think there's a rise for this team. If you're selling it, you think this team is on the plummet. So, and I got some teams here that I thought were interesting around the NFL that are kind of tweeners, teams that could go either way, and I want to get Sam's reaction to them, and feel free to play along in the chat as well. The first team we're going to start off with in the AFC, and we just got done talking about top head coaches, Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. New quarterback last season, Kenny Pickett, didn't have a great rookie year, but they were winning some games at the end of the season. Are you buying or selling the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Well, to pay homage to my good friend Easy, buy. And here is why. Obviously, I don't think much of Kenny Pickett. I don't think he's any good. I think Najee Harris he's never averaged more than 4 yards per carry in a season. I don't think he's really that good either. But when you look at the weapons they have on the outside, Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, and Allen Robinson are your 3 receivers. Pat Freiermuth is your tight end. They added Isaac Sumalu in the offseason on their offensive line from Philadelphia. And just listen to their defensive personnel. Cameron Hayward, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Patrick Peterson, and Minkah Fitzpatrick. Obviously, Patrick Peterson is not prime Patrick Peterson, but he also had 5 picks last year. So, given all of the talent that they have in the roster, I buy the Pittsburgh Steelers, and by buying them to be a wild card team.
What about you, JB? Buying or selling the Pittsburgh Steelers? What do you think?
You know, I think I'll buy the Pittsburgh Steelers, just given the combination of Mike Tomlin, Kenny Pickett, another year together, another time working. I think somehow, some way they'll figure things out. Kenny Pickett isn't a terrible quarterback, but he's not at the level where he should be. And I agree with Sam about Najee Harris. He's just kind of an iffy running back. Like, he can be there for you sometimes, but not all the time. So I think I'll buy the Steelers, just given the fact that Mike Tomlin is there. You have that head coach that can actually work with players. So I think I'll buy the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to. You have Mike Tomlin. The roster I want to buy. The only thing that I'm hesitant is Kenny Pickett. Yeah. And I don't know if he's a franchise quarterback. That's the biggest question mark, I think. If you talk about X factors, he's the X factor for the Steelers. We know what TJ Watt can do. I think when he's in the lineup, they win like 75% of their games. It's something ridiculous like that. So a lot of it has to do with Pickett. They got him weapons. He has a ton of weapons now. It's time. So for the Steelers, I would like to think Kenny Pickett would work out with good coaching, with again, him not being exposed. They have a great defense. They're going to run the football. They just drafted a left tackle, the tackle out of Georgia this year. So I'm going to buy the Steelers stock. I'm going to go that way, and a lot of people would agree too. The poll on WoodwardSports.com, Steelers buy or sell, 68% of the people would buy that stock. So we're all in agreement here, and I think it's fair. 31% would sell. But I don't think people, if you say sell, the only reason you'd give is it'd have to be Kenny Pickett. Because, like, other than that, they got a pretty good roster. It's just a big question mark at quarterback.
Remember how stocks work? You want to buy them when they're low. So when they grow and they get better throughout the season, you can sell them off at the end.
Yeah, buy Kenny Pickett now, year after. And it's not an easy buy. Like, what he put up statistically last year is hard to buy in. But I'm going to do it. I trust in Mike Tomlin here. So, and they missed the playoffs last year. First time in quite some time. So we'll see what they can do to bounce back. Next team, the New England Patriots. The Bill Belichick-led New England Patriots. And it's been rumored, DeAndre Hopkins, now Bill O'Brien, the OC for the Patriots. You got a connection there. Maybe DeAndre Hopkins returns. Maybe Dalvin Cook joins the Patriots. We know those two are looking to play together. So a lot of possibilities for the Patriots. They're in a tough division. You got Miami. You got New York. You got Buffalo. You buying or selling the New England Patriots stock? What do you think?
Oh, as presently constructed, it is a hard sell. I mean, remember there was once a time when people thought that Mac Jones was better than Trevor Lawrence? Oh, what a time to be alive. I laugh at those people now because Mac Jones, I think, at his best is mid. Although I think he was in as bad of a coaching situation as you could possibly be with Matt Patricia being your offensive coordinator. But be that as it may, that division is tough. The New England Patriots, I think, are the consensus to finish last in that division, and I 100% agree. I like their running back Ramondre Stevenson. I like their pass rush led by Matthew Judon, who is elite, and a good fine Michigan man in Josh Uche, who had 11.5 sacks last year. They did add Juju Smith-Schuster, but if he's your number one receiver, that's not really what you want. If they were to add DeAndre Hopkins or Dalvin Cook, I might change my mind, but as presently constructed, hard sell. They win 6 games.
What do you think, JB? New England Patriots. You selling it? Is it Dogecoin? What are you thinking?
I mean, it's basically Dogecoin or crypto, however you want to look at it. I am selling the Patriots, and no disrespect to Bill Belichick and the legacy that the Patriots have built for themselves, but it's just an old man coaching who can't get with the times, and every player on their roster, aside from Ramondre Stevens, which Sam has already said, it's just questionable. I don't think they have it in them this year to do anything, especially with Mac Jones at center. So
if they get a number one wide receiver, if they get DeAndre Hopkins, I think I'd be more enticed to maybe buy some stock if they sign Dalvin Cook. Like, I like what they got, at least as a roster. Again, we're going back to the roster thing. Mac Jones with Matt Patricia as your OC, like, that's where you lose me. But they get rid of Matt Patricia, so maybe I'm interested now. Just because of that. Matt Patricia's not a part of the Patriots. Maybe I'm interested now.
That's gonna
Bill
help.
O'Brien as an OC, he's immediately an upgrade. So
100%.
Hopefully you sold the stock a while ago.
Yeah, you get rid of that stock as soon as you see Patricia's name. But for me, at least, Mac Jones, I think he'll have a better year than he had last year. Mac Jones, to me, is what he is. There's a reason why Kyle Shanahan argued to try and get Mac Jones when they got Trey Lance, because Mac isn't elite like Trevor, but he's not bad either. He's just he's just there. He's middle of the pack. I think he can do that. And I think the Patriots will be better, but I'm still selling that stock because after Tom left New England, it was always who is it, Bill or Tom? And Bill gets a ton of credit. You know who the answer is. It's clearly the greatest player of all time. So I'm selling all my Patriots stock, and the people would agree with me. 93% currently agree as well. Sell the Patriots stock. So the next team we're going to go through, and we'll get to it because we're going to go to break soon, and we're going to continue this after the break, is the Cleveland Browns. Okay, Kevin Stefanski, Deshaun Watson. They got a pretty damn good roster. Tough division. You're in the AFC as well. Sam, you buying or selling the Cleveland Browns stock?
Bye. And if you want the hottest take you'll get all day, and I am dead fucking serious, the Cleveland Browns will win the AFC North this year, and that means that the Cincinnati Bengals will miss the playoffs. God, I wish Lucas were here because we would go at it for 15 minutes, but that is my hot take. The Cleveland Browns, they obviously weren't good last year. Deshaun Watson looked terrible, but I don't think he forgot how to play football. We forget that prime Deshaun Watson was looked at as one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, a guy who could eventually maybe become the best quarterback or the second best quarterback. He was thought right up there with guys like Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, how they are thought of now. That's what Deshaun Watson was. I think he has the most improved season from last year to this year of anybody. Nick Chubb is one of the best running backs in the NFL. Averaged 5 yards per carry every season he's played. He is dominant. He runs behind that dominant offensive line led by Wyatt Teller and Joel Bitonio and Jack Conklin. An offensive line that I think is even better than the Lions right now. They got Deshaun Watson as weapons. Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, Donovan Peoples-Jones. David Njoku is still overrated, but he can make a play from time to time. And that defense, which is already led by stalwarts and Myles Garrett and Denzel Washington, particularly Myles Garrett, who is a future gold jacket guy, one of the best defensive players I've ever seen. But they poached from Minnesota, Zadarius Smith, a 10-sack guy, Talvin Tomlinson, and Juan Thornhill, the safety from Kansas City. Look out for the Cleveland Browns, and I think Kevin Stefanski is a very, very bright young offensive mind. The Cleveland Browns will win the AFC North hard by for me.
Wow, win the AFC North over the Bengals.
Yes.
Okay, Sam. What do you think, JB? Buying or selling Cleveland Brown stock? What do you think?
Well, I'm not going as far as to say the Browns will win the AFC North, but I think I will take a chance and buy this Browns stock just because I'm hopeful that Deshaun Watson can turn things around in Cleveland, and as Sam said, they have the coach for it as well too. They've got a nice offense as well. That's another year. I'm a little hopeful, so I'm taking my chance on this stock now. I'm buying the Browns, but I don't know where Sam's coming from, thinking that the Bengals will be out of the playoffs and not even win the AFC North. So
Joe Burrow's overrated. That's why.
Wow.
I think he's the second best quarterback in the NFL, but he's certainly not Joe Cool. And I think by the end of the year, Josh Allen and Justin Herbert have a chance to usurp him. Joe Burrow's got number 2 for right now, but it is the Atlantic Ocean, the gap between Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. Remember when they were talking about Brady and Manning? And this is something where I'm going to quote a guy that I have a lot of respect for, Nick Wright. You know what? Patrick Mahomes is Brady and Manning. Got the wins and the stats.
Well, that's actually a fair take.
That's actually
but Joe
fair.
Burrow we got to just stay on this for a second because I could go off and we could talk about Joe Burrow. But just to stick on this, and JB don't throw his money around, just throw it around. So if he's buying stock, the man means he's buying stock. And I can see where Sam's coming from because Deshaun Watson didn't just forget how to play football. Like, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL just years ago. So there's that to it. They traded for Zadarius Smith. They got Tomlinson from the Vikings as well, defensive tackle. They already have Myles Garrett, who you mentioned, future Hall of Famer. The football's won in the trenches. An offensive line, solid for the Browns. Defensive line, really damn good. So I like the Browns a lot. If Deshaun can return to his original form, they got Nick Chubb. They have receivers, Amari Cooper now. We'll see if maybe they can recruit DeAndre Hopkins. Who knows? But regardless, I like the Browns. I'm going to buy stock in them. I won't say they'll win the AFC North, but damn, they'll be second. I think they'll contend for the AFC North. I like them better than the Ravens. I like them better than the Steelers. So I'm Sam. They're right there. So I still believe in the Bengals though, and Joe Burrow to me is not overrated. But it is what it is. We'll go to break. When we get back, I want to finish up some of these teams and get to the NFC North and buy or sell stock edition for some of these teams and see what you guys think. But before we do that, I got to tell you, or actually you have to tell us about Randy Wise, or Gabby does, excuse me.
1, 2, 3. Third time's the charm, right?
Yes.
Randy Wise is where you can go to get yourself into a celebrity level vehicle. And right now, you can watch the first episode of the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour with Woodward Sports at woodwardsports.com. Head over to the website or to our YouTube to watch that episode and get yourself to a Randy Wise location and make the wise choice.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here at woodwardsports.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. We are happy to have you here this Friday morning to get the start of your weekend going right. But before we get to the rest of the show, make sure you're following us on all social media at Woodward Sports. Check out Threads to see our shout out that we just gave Jeff, since he said he was not going to participate in it. And then tune back in at 11 a.m. for Big D Energy, 2 p.m. for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, and 5 p.m. for the Woodward Heavyweights.
We're back. We're buying or selling stock, and this time we're going to stick in the NFC North. We went to some AFC teams, and everybody shared their thoughts on them. And right now, the Cleveland Browns, to give an update, 60% would sell, 40% would buy. I'm going to lean buy. You'd say buy. JB said buy. And again, buy doesn't mean they're going to win the Super Bowl, but they'll be much better. I think so. Deshaun's second year in that offense, they definitely will.
I got them closer to the Super Bowl than I think most people do.
I would say you have them getting a home playoff game. So,
I do.
You know what? I like it, though. Hey, this is the time to throw predictions, and we'll see if they come true later in the season. So we'll move on. NFC North, we'll stick with the Chicago Bears to start. And JB, I don't know if I should just start with you and get yours out of the way.
Go ahead, start with JB.
We know how you feel about the Bears, JB. And tell me why you're buying the stock.
I'm just saying. Not that they will win the Super Bowl or anything like that, but they will
Gotta clarify that.
They will improve from what they did last year. Justin Fields will finally understand and learn that you don't always need to take off and run with the football. You can extend plays while still being in the pocket. They've upgraded and got him weapons. I think this year, I'm buying the Bears. Not to win the division, not to go to the Super Bowl, not to do anything like that.
But they'll be better.
To improve and be better.
Okay.
So I'm buying them on that.
That's fair. What about you, Sam?
Buy. And this is the classic case of, as Gabby, as you alluded to, their stock is a 3-win team right now. And I think this is a team that can jump to 7 or 8. I'm not saying they're going to win the division over the Lions, but I think they are going to be better. I mean, think about it. They made additions at their offensive line. They picked up Nate Davis. They even the signing of DeMarcus Walker, the defensive end. Obviously, their defensive line is still weak, but DeMarcus Walker had 7 sacks last season. I think that was a big signing. They picked up DJ Moore, a number 1 wide receiver for Justin Fields. They picked up Deontay Foreman, who I think is a relative equal to David Montgomery. Little dig at David Montgomery
don't
there.
worry.
But you know,
I'll address that.
That is okay. TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds, they completely revamped their linebacking core. They have a good safety duo in Eddie Jackson and Jaquan Brisker. They have inexperienced but up-and-coming corners, I think. I don't know if they're going to be that good this year. Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon. And obviously, don't let me forget about Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, and Khalil Herbert. Justin Fields, if it's not Deshaun Watson, the player that takes the biggest jump in terms of quarterbacks in the NFL this upcoming year will be Justin Fields. I think he throws for 25 touchdown passes and is much more efficient and maybe can even get 1,000 rushing yards again. Justin Fields, man, if we're talking about another stock that I'm buying, buy Justin Fields, but also with the Chicago Bears. Look for them to be a 7 or 8 win team.
And this, at least the Bears, in my opinion, I mean, they're in like a 30-foot grave. So the only way to go is up for them. So it's easy to say I'll buy the Bears stock, but I'm actually going to sell it. And I'll tell you why. It has nothing to do with Fields. I like Fields. I'll buy his stock. But I don't know if I'm hopping on this Bears train this season. I think they'll be better. But when I think of buying stock, it's like I have faith for whoever the team is for the future. I don't know what I'm not a huge fan of Matt Eberflus. I'm not a fan of what they've done. They've made some signings in free agency, but still, what do they got on their defensive line? The running backs, a lot of question marks there. We'll see. You love Khalil Herbert, so we'll see if he pops off.
Best running back on the Bears last year.
There's a lot of question marks still with this Bears roster. I'm not going to buy in this early, but we'll see. I'm a little higher than some other teams in the NFC North, and we'll get to that soon. But I'm selling my Bear stock right now. But again, it has nothing to do with Fields. I like Fields. But I don't know if Eberflus and what they have around Fields, although they have receivers, but we'll see how that all comes together. I still believe in the philosophy of if you have a young quarterback, you get an offensive coach. The Bears, they didn't do that. I'm curious to see how it works out. So not confident in what the Bears are doing, but I like Justin Fields a lot. So we'll see if he can overcome those things. We'll get to the next team here in the NFC North. The Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love, first year starting an entire season. Aaron Rodgers, out of here. What do you think, Sam? You're buying or selling?
I am going to sell the Green Bay Packers stock, and this is more to do with right now they were an 8-win team last year. I think they are 6 or 7, maybe 8. They're not gonna improve. They might stay the exact same, and that is because nobody knows if Jordan Love is any good or not. And when you've seen him play in short sample sizes, I'm not saying that's necessarily fair to him, but he hasn't really blown me away or looked like anything special. And in that game where he started at Kansas City, I think he led the Green Bay Packers offense to 7 points. So we haven't seen a lot from Jordan Love. I like what they have in the backfield with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. I like some of their offensive line pieces led by David Bakhtiari, who's a little over the hill, I would say. And I like their young weapons, but at the same time, Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs, they're relatively unproven. They've got Rashawn Gary on defense, Devondre Campbell, Jair Alexander. They've got some solid pieces, but at the same time, it just comes down to Jordan Love. I think at absolute best, he is going to be mid, and the Packers kind of stay exactly where they are, a 7-8 win team, maybe second or third in the division. Sell.
What do you think, JB? Buying or selling? Green Bay Packers.
Oh, this is an easy sell. I think the Packers are going to miss Aaron Rodgers so much this season, especially with Jordan Love taking over. You just don't know what you have in him. And I agree with Sam as well. The running back room is the only thing that I like in the Green Bay, so I'm selling the Packers easy.
And I know it's weird because the buy or sell thing, how do you look at it? And I'm going to be consistent. It doesn't have to do with record completely, because the Bears easily you buy if you think they'll be better than what they were last year. But a lot of it is just the faith in what they're building. That's part of it. So that's why I'm selling the Bear stock. Here with the Packers, this is, if you're talking about stocks and risk, this is
way too risky,
but also high reward because no one knows what Jordan Love's going to be. So here's JB and Sam selling.
No, don't do it.
I think the Packers are going to be the second best team now in the NFC North. So by that, and they were, last season they were third. So technically, they're going up a little bit. But again, they all could fall apart.
You got to keep your eyes on that stock, though. That's not one that you're going to set it and forget it. You're not going to put your money in there and then hope that it does its thing. You got to keep a close eye on it.
I might sell pretty quickly.
10 minutes.
Starts to crash, you got to sell.
Yeah, I might sell pretty quickly. But I can't lie to you. The Packers as a roster, the best roster besides the Lions in the NFC North. The only question mark is Jordan Love. I don't hate on Matt LaFleur. I know everybody likes to say Matt LaFleur had Aaron Rodgers. You need both. You need a good quarterback, but you also need a pretty good damn head coach. So I think Matt LaFleur is a pretty good coach. Jordan Love, I don't think they're going to ask of him what they asked of Aaron Rodgers. Everything will be simplified, and I think the Packers can win 7-8 games this season, which is about what they won last season. But I like what they're building. I do. If Jordan Love can be even decent. So I'm going to buy that stock. But I'm very hesitant. And my money, I think I'm just throwing my money out the window. But we'll see. I like what the Packers are doing. And again, they'll be the second best team. I'm going to stay consistent with that.
Yeah, that's. I don't necessarily hate it. I think their record will be about the same. And my rationale was more we don't know what Jordan Love is. And I would even argue that their weapons are young and unproven, and they're going to start a rookie tight end. I don't hate it. I don't think they're going to be terrible or anything. And I know that's I don't think we have any more teams that we have to cover. Do you mind if I address something in the chat from earlier?
Yeah, of course.
Because one thing that I absolutely hate doing, and if any of you guys know me, you know this very well, I hate making blatant hot take statements and not really getting a chance to defend it. When I said that Joe Burrow is overrated, I'm not necessarily saying that he's not the second best quarterback in the NFL, that he hasn't been a huge part in revamping the Cincinnati Bengals into being one of the best teams in the AFC. I would just say, and something Brandon Katz said, that the Joe Burrow plays his best in big games. I would tend to disagree with that one. I mean, in 7 playoff games, he's only thrown for 9 touchdown passes. He's never once led his team to over 30 points in a playoff game. He has won 2 playoff games as their starting quarterback in which he has led the team to less than 20 offensive points. Remember that game-winning Joe Burrow drive that he had against the Baltimore Ravens last year? Oh, that's right. That's not what happened at all. Tyler Huntley tries to Superman over into the end zone. He gets stripped. Sam Hubbard returns it for 99 yards for a touchdown because Joe Burrow sprinkles that cool dust all over that team. No, that was him getting lucky. They probably lose if it wasn't for that play. They most certainly lose if Lamar Jackson plays. And then that game against the Tennessee Titans where they win 19-16. Ryan Tannehill throws 3 interceptions, including one at the end of the game to set them up with good field position, which Joe Burrow has to lead, like a 30-yard drive for the game-winning field goal. And then in that Super Bowl against the Los Angeles Rams where he leads them to 20 points. Actually, Joe Mixon has to throw one of his touchdown passes for him to T. Higgins. And in his last 5 drives, 4 of them in which he has the chance to salt the game away, punt, turnover on downs. And I didn't even get to the Kansas City Chiefs game at Arrowhead this past year because I got a lot to say about that. Nobody was criticizing him after that game. He threw 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and with a chance with the ball, 20-20, he threw a pick and they punted. Joe Burrow's Joe Cool legend, his plays well in big games narrative is the most overblown thing I think I've ever heard. He's a great quarterback, but this idea that he's a great playoff quarterback, he is a worse playoff quarterback than Josh Allen by the numbers. That's facts. Look him up. I know you guys won't do it because some of you are lazy and like to just stick to your narratives, but Joe Burrow, his playoff legend, highly overrated. Highly.
Legend killer.
Sam?
What?
When you say overrated, are you making the argument but you agree he's the second best quarterback in the NFL?
Yes.
So overrated in what metric? I agree with you. Like I think he's rated rightfully so. He's the second best quarterback and he's treated as such. Now, last season there was the conversation, is he better than Mahomes? I disagree with that. But you can't say that Joe Burrow, I love this comment too. Eric Allen says, didn't he get sacked 9 times in that Tennessee game?
Okay, he did, but at the same time, the defense intercepted Ryan Tannehill 3 times. That had a lot to do with it.
But not everything it has to do with the quarterback. It is a complete team game, and Joe Burrow's numbers aren't even bad.
Hey, earth to everybody, and I'm not trying to disrespect you, earth to Jeff. Joe Burrow gets 100% of the credit, bro. I know that it's not just quarterback wins, but all of you people, all of you national media, you guys don't always know that. It's always the quarterback. The quarterback wins. Every Tom Brady Super Bowl was because of Tom Brady. Every single Aaron Rodgers loss is because he choked. There is a lot more nuance to it, and that's the type of narratives that I cannot stand.
Well, listen, all I know is when Joe Burrow went over to Buffalo in that weather, he picked apart the Bills.
He was excellent in that game.
Tore them apart.
He was excellent in
the
that
snow,
game.
which Josh should be more comfortable. He's a specimen. He should be more comfortable in that type of environment, and they completely decimated the Bills. So that's all the data I have this season. I don't think he's overrated. I think he's rated. He's the second best quarterback, and I don't know. If you want to make the argument he's the best, I disagree, and that's where I think...
If you make that argument, you're a fucking idiot right now. Right now. Come on. Done. Finito.
Yeah, well, again... let's see. Andrew says, what are you talking about, Jeff? It's all stats. Just ask Sam. Well, you're not basing this argument strictly off playoff stats, though. Is this also... Because Joe Burrow, to me, every big game I've seen Joe Burrow in, typically he does play well. He's not a bad big-time player. He's never choked on the biggest stage.
I mean, he's also never thrown 3 touchdown passes in a playoff game or led his offense to over 30
Well, at least
points.
he's gotten to a Super Bowl.
Josh
Allen has not.
Do we have to go over this again? In those 2021 playoffs,
Joe Burrow beat Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, Joe Burrow. Okay. Let's.
The Bengals did, but Joe Burrow was the quarterback.
Let's really break this down again. And I can't believe I have to keep telling you people this. And you, Jeff Iafrate, I know you're kind of trolling me a little bit, but thank you for letting me break that down. Here's why the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills did not. Patrick Mahomes had his one real playoff meltdown in that game against the Kansas City Chiefs. They scored 21 first half points, and then Patrick Mahomes pretty much looked unrecognizable in the second half. And remember in overtime when That game also went to overtime. When the Kansas City Chiefs won the coin toss in that game, they didn't go right down the field and score like they did against the Buffalo Bills. Patrick Mahomes threw an interception, apparently because Joe Burrow motivated his defense from the sideline. Josh Allen played better at Arrowhead than Joe Burrow did by a landslide. I already told you what Josh Allen did. Threw 4 touchdown passes, including the one that should have been the game winner with 13 seconds left. Their defense allowed Patrick Mahomes to go down the field, tie the game. The Chiefs win the coin toss. Patrick Mahomes leads them to a touchdown. Josh Allen never gets the ball back. So this idea that Josh Allen has something to prove in the playoffs and Joe Burrow is just this cool playoff quarterback, fallacy. And I just broke it down for you right there. I know you guys hate numbers. I know you guys hate nuance, but I'm going to give it to you every single day from 8 to 10 a.m. every single day, and you're going to like it. I'm going to shove those facts in your mouth, and you're going to choke on them.
Okay.
That's what's going to happen. And when you choke, don't look at me for the Heimlich, because I'm not going to give it to you. You may look at your friend.
I don't like the idea, Sam, of you forcing anything down anyone's throat, making them choke. That doesn't sound
Legend
pleasing.
killer.
It doesn't. You know what does sound pleasing, though? We're going to get the break and get to Gabby's trivia here, and we'll see if Sam's maybe a little he's too heated to participate in trivia. Hopefully I get a chance now. You give me a little bit of breathing room here. But let's get to break. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you about SMA, and then we'll get into some trivia, because the Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, tell them, or even yourself, to head to thesportsma.com for more information.
Sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here at WoodwardSports.com. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we have a little bit of trivia for you today to get your weekend started right. And I don't know if Jeff knows this. I'm sure Flannel knows, but Wimbledon is going on right now, so we're going to do some Wimbledon trivia.
Yeah, Sam already has all the data programmed in his head now, so can't wait for this. Oh, jeez. Wimbledon edition. Oh, gosh.
All right, let's kick things off here. First question. How many tennis balls are used during Wimbledon? 60,170, 54,250, 57,910, or 52,780. Lock in your answers when you are ready, gentlemen.
I'm locked in.
Of course you are, Sam. Jesus, man. How many balls? I mean, I know you're gonna big balls guy, so you might go for 60.
Hey, yo.
I'm gonna stay. I got my answer now. I got my answer.
3, 2, 1.
A.
What'd you say?
B.
Jeff gets that one.
So I took a swing there.
No, and for the record,
no pun intended.
This is just about balls used at Wimbledon. Obviously, it was a guess. Just because I lock in right away doesn't because I know it was right.
The confidence was there. The confidence was like way over the top.
Let's go.
Nice job,
I
Jeff.
took a swing, fellas.
There you go. All right, starting off strong. Now, don't lose the lead, because once you lose the lead, you're done for.
Yeah, Sam can already smell blood in the water, so can't wait for this.
All right, what color do the players almost entirely wear? A, red, B, cream, C, white, D, black.
Okay, cream is stupid. They wear cream. That's weird. Red, white, black. I got it.
3, 2, 1.
C.
The answer is C.
Okay.
You've never heard of Wimbledon white?
No, I've not heard of Wimbledon white. Is that what they wore at Michael Rubin's party? The Wimbledon white? They look like a bunch of Illuminati members.
Yeah, they kind of did, didn't they?
Yeah.
It was creepy.
I think it was just a white party, but
Yeah, that was just a white party. I don't think there was any relation
Yeah, that was
to
some
Wimbledon
Satanist
there.
stuff. But yeah, whatever. It's 1-1. Fair.
1-1. All right.
How did I get the stat one right? Like, how do I get the stat one right?
Well, I mean,
Sam
to be honest, I don't know how you got the color one wrong.
Well,
That's like a very obvious thing that you don't even have to know about Wimbledon to know.
Yeah, it's a big time L.
Yeah.
It's okay. True or
Okay.
false, though? I like this question.
True, false. Wimbledon is the oldest tennis championship in the world?
Got it.
Lock in.
3, 2, 1.
True.
True. Oh, well, that was my answer. I just delayed it. Is it true?
It is true.
Yes.
I thought you were going to be like, no, actually, there's another one that's older. But thank gosh.
To quote a line from one of my favorite shows, George Lopez, a lot of you might not get this. It's true. It's true. I hope my wife's watching at home. She'll understand what I'm saying. I'm probably the only
George
one.
Lopez. The only, honestly,
Was that
what I
a
remember.
quote? I think that was just someone saying it's true.
Right, yeah. It was I'm not going to explain the whole thing, but it was actually said in the form of, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, you know what's funny? George Lopez, the only memories I have of George Lopez is waking up in the middle of the night out of a deep sleep and seeing George Lopez on my TV.
You accidentally fell asleep with the TV on.
Just because he's on at 4 a.m. But anyway, move on. I'll go with true. We
All
both
right,
were right.
what's our
2-2.
score at right now?
It's 2-2.
2-2?
Yeah.
Wow.
Tied game.
I think this is honestly like the closest it's ever been for this far into a trivia segment.
I'm coming for
putting
that
it out
ass,
there.
Sam.
All right. How long was the longest match ever at Wimbledon? A, 5 hours and 11 minutes. B, 19 hours, 2 minutes. C, 6 hours, 24 minutes. Or D, 11 hours and 5 minutes.
Got it.
I'm going to lock in.
3, 2, 1.
C.
The answer is D.
Oh, wow.
11 hours and 5 minutes.
Was that the one with like John Isner or whatever? I don't know.
I wish I could
The
tell
only one
you.
that could
I
compete-
just picked the questions.
Yeah.
11 hours, that's a long time to be going at it. That's like Adam 22's wife distance. Like 11 hours,
Ooh.
that's about the time, right, JB? Some messed up stuff right there. 11 hours and 5 minutes, that's a long time. That's too long for me. All right.
Like I want to know, like how many breaks are they have to take during that? Like are they fed food? Like does that include the breaks? I don't know.
I
Yeah,
want to
that's
say there was
messed up.
a play stoppage in that. I think I know what one they're talking about. I think there was a stoppage in play. It may have been darkness or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
I think. Don't
Yeah,
quote me.
it's all right.
Okay.
I didn't think it'd be 11 freaking hours. That's insane. That's a shift. But regardless, we both got it wrong at least.
Yes.
So if I get it wrong, I'm taking your ass with me. So
All right,
there you
still
go.
tied, still tied. Going into the next question. What height is the grass on the courts? A, 3 inches, B, 5 millimeters, C, 8 millimeters, D, 4 inches.
Locked in.
Okay, I'm locked in. This is the stupidest
3,
statistic ever.
2, 1.
B.
B.
The answer is C.
Oh.
I knew it was a
Millimeters.
I love it. That's why I like Sam.
was
All right.
millimeters.
We knew it was a millimeter. We just didn't know which one it was. 8? Jesus, man.
Yeah, because this is in the UK, and the UK uses a different form of measurement. So I'm
That-
glad
that
you at
is
least
true.
got that correct.
Yeah, right.
We knew it was a millimeter. We just didn't know.
You guys are
8 or
so
5.
bright.
The metric system. I'm kidding. Go on.
All right,
2-2.
question number 6. What year were the first Wimbledon matches? A, 1877, B, 1902, C, 1891, or D, 1912?
I'll lock it in.
Jeez. Well, okay. All right.
3, 2, 1.
A.
The answer is A.
Let's go.
And Sam Flannel
Dude, what?
takes the lead.
1877?
1877.
Let's go.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
Okay.
Playing tennis in 1877. That's, wow. Had nothing else better to do. It's fine. Whatever. That's fair. That's fair.
Each
All right.
morning of the tournament, what happens? A, everyone eats a full English breakfast. B, wake up everyone using fanfare trumpets. C, a hawk flies over the venue to scare away pigeons. Or D, everyone must have a cup of tea.
I think I'm locked in. Yes, I'm locked in.
I got it.
3, 2, 1.
A.
C.
The answer is C.
Wow.
It sounds realistic.
A
Like have a hawk
hawk
fly over and scare away
named
pigeons.
Rufus
Wow.
flies over the venue to scare away pigeons.
People
Nice job,
Rufus
Jeff.
the hawk.
Rufus.
Nice job, Jeff.
Of course, his name's Rufus. That's the most like English freaking name ever, dude. It couldn't be like Jim. It's freaking Rufus. But hey, everyone in the chat's picking D. Everyone must have a cup of tea. That sounds also realistic. So, but I went with C.
Pretty good options here, hey?
There you go. 3-2.
C, all right.
Oh wait, 3-3.
No, 3-3.
3-3.
3-3.
We're tied.
Yep. Okay.
Match point. What food is tradition to eat at Wimbledon? A, fish and chips. B, strawberries and cream. C, bangers and mash. Or D, a full English breakfast.
Bangers and mash? Dude, that is the... That sounds like a porno. I don't know. Bangers and mash.
Don't give Adam 22 any ideas.
I mean, you could argue strawberries and cream could be one too, honestly. Yeah, I think I have it.
Locked in.
I think I have it.
3, 2, 1.
C.
A.
The answer is B,
Oh,
strawberries
okay, it's not
and
bangers
cream.
and mash.
Nope, strawberries and cream. It's outdoors, you know, it's sunny, it's summer, it's hot. You got to go for the strawberries and cream, a nice little afternoon treat.
Bangers and mash is sausage and potatoes. Actually, that sounds pretty good.
Bangers
So it's
and
not
mash.
a porno. Just making sure. Okay,
No.
clarify that. It's actual food. All right, 3. What is it? 3-3?
Yeah.
You didn't get that right. Okay.
All right. How many ball boys and girls are hired each year for the tournament? A, 170, B, 325, C, 350, or D, 250?
I'll lock in.
That is so many people. Yeah. Let's do it.
Like, think of how many courts there are that they're playing on simultaneously.
Okay. I got it.
Uh-oh. You good, Flannel?
I'm good. Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
he was good the minute he
Yes,
saw it.
yes.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
C.
The answer is D.
Oh.
Let's go, Sam.
Oh my God. What's
Buckle up.
happening?
Buckle up, buddy.
All right, what's the
crunch
score?
time.
What's the score?
4-3.
4-3.
4-3.
Oh man.
Game 7. I took it home. All right, let's go.
Who won the men's singles last year? A,
He
Nadal.
knows, he
B,
knows this.
Federer. C, Djokovic.
Sam knows this.
D.
I know he does.
Alcaraz.
Locked in.
Of course you are. You know this.
No, I don't have a tiebreaker. This is the last question.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Who won it last year? Dude. Yeah, I'm ready. I think. I don't know.
I'm good.
Screw it. Just
3, 2, 1.
C.
Was it C?
Oh my God! Jeff won!
The only reason why I picked C is because that's Sam's guy. So he always tells me he's a big fan. So I just went with your guy, assuming you'd pick him too. So that was
No way!
all right.
Shout out to Katie,
Yes!
the intern, and her mad Photoshop skills.
Yes. Finally.
Great.
Man, you just give me a participation trophy at this point. Holy hell.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Just take a swing for the fences, boys. Thank you.
Fantastic job, Jeff.
I just wanna say
finally pulled out a win.
I just want to say I thank my family, my mom, my friends, and Sam Flannel, my wonderful friend.
Oh, thank you.
Finally, just giving me a win, gifting me a win. It was very nice of you. Very nice of you. Thank
no,
you, Sam.
Jeff. You know what? The thing that people probably don't understand about me is I'm a very, very humble man. I am a very, very gracious loser, and when I don't perform, I only look at the man in the mirror. I don't make excuses. I did not gift you anything, Jeff. You went out there and you earned it.
Boys, we did it. And like Kevin Garnett said, anything is possible. Anything's possible. Just remember that.
So many movie quotes today and show quotes.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Garnett.
Neither of those quotes were actually applicable to like a movie. That could be used in any movie.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Can we agree,
It's
though?
true. It's true.
Hey, look, there was an episode where that actually, it was like a cheer segment. So it actually was like, it's true. It's true. Oh, go ahead.
No, this comment made me laugh. Noah M says this is like watching Jokic finally get over the hump.
Oh my God, same
It's
thing.
like, Noah, that's spot on, my guy here. Happy Camper Harry says I think Sam was paid off. Sam bet on Jeff on FanDuel.
No, Jeff earned that victory.
That was I don't know, man. You've been talking about Jameson Williams. You know, I might have just.
Well, maybe I earned that loss.
Maybe.
But Jeff, I was actually gonna say, and I know you might understand this because you're a big NBA guy. As much as, you know, Kevin Garnett obviously getting over the hump, winning a championship with Boston, was that whole like anything is possible thing the most cringe thing you've ever seen?
I mean, it's hard because it's hard to like, judge any athlete in that moment. Like I have no idea what goes through Kevin Garnett's head. when he's an NBA champion, he does something he's been waiting to do. I don't know. I don't think it's cringe, but now looking back on it, seeing it so much, I can see why now you're like,
it did wonders.
I've seen it a ton.
It did a lot for his legacy, I will say that. Because in Minnesota, he obviously put up great stats, but he didn't have a whole lot around him. I think he won an MVP, and they didn't win anything. But with Boston, when he had obviously like a lot of help, Paul Pierce and Ray Allen, he was able to get over the hump, and that was big for all their legacies. Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. I mean, that's the only championship they won together, and the only championship. I mean, Ray Allen had another one with Miami, but where Ray Allen was at like the peak of his powers. That was all of their shining achievements.
Speaking of shining, you mentioned Garnett and Ray Allen. Both of them have bald heads. So unfortunately, they're never going to be able to go to Lady Jane's. It's unfortunate. It really is.
They could get cleaned up. They could get a nice ear wax.
Yeah, I mean, if they have a beard, you get the beard lined up.
Yeah.
Tell everybody where to go, Sam.
Well, although if I had to trade my hair and being bald for an NBA career, I would take that as well, but that is not the case because I'm not an NBA player, and I do think I have pretty decent hair, and I actually went to Lady Jane's yesterday. I got my hair cut by the lovely Mariah. She's always got me looking fresh, and to go along with my fresh shave, I am like a whole new man. I think I took 5 years off of my projected age, but they can do all that for you too, and you can walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Stanford 2 Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars. I went allowed to order there. One for you and one for your wife, girlfriend, or best bud. Didn't know you spoke Spanish, Jeff. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Play, practice, and party at 5 Iron Golf coming this July to Detroit, located inside of the Cambria Hotel. Downtown's newest sports bar has 13 TrackMan simulators, certified instructors, and a full bar and restaurant. Mention promo code Woodward at checkout for 50% off your first visit, and visit 5irongolf.com to tee up good times. That is 5irongolf.com.
Mike G, I love this comment. Mike G says, Sam Flannel, quote, I didn't perform. Things you don't want to say on your honeymoon, Mike G says. That's fair.
I mean, that is definitely fair. And you know what? I'm going to keep my comments to myself because I am a very humble and modest man. I don't kiss and tell.
Oh, my gosh. Sam Flannel.
But just with my lovely wife.
Packing heat.
I am a ladies' man for one woman only. I think that's what they said about Robin Thicke until he cheated on his wife. I mean, but that is actually me, a ladies' man for one woman only.
Yeah, well, Mike, that was great. It was great. I want to discuss for a little bit before we get to what's trending, because there is some interesting topics in what's trending that I do want to discuss with everybody else, and Gabby's got them for us. I want to bring up some of these videos that the Detroit Pistons put out yesterday in Pistons Talk. Anthony Colombo put them out on his Twitter as well, and it was a SAR because the Detroit Pistons put out their version of Inside the Den. It's under the hood, and they've been doing this thing, which I love that the Lions and the Pistons do it. It's an inside look through the offseason, what the team's been doing, and they did an episode on the draft. And I want to show you guys a clip of Asar being welcomed to the Detroit Pistons, and then Marcus Sasser, the clip of him being traded for. It's super interesting. Alex, if you have it, could you throw up the Asar clip, or Marcus, whichever one?
Hello, I know. This is Sarge. What's up? None. Thank you. I'm happy to be a Piston.
No, we're excited. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. How's everybody good? Family good?
Yeah, family's good. You know, can't wait to get out there.
No, I know you can't wait to get here. I got Coach Monty right here, okay? Hold on one second.
Okay.
Young Buck.
What up, Coach?
Congrats.
Thank you. Man, I'm happy to be part of the team.
We're happy to have you, man. We were so excited.
Yes, sir. I'm super excited. You know, after a meeting, I was excited. I was like, "This is where I want to go." So I'm happy I went.
Well, we felt the same way, man.
Yes, sir.
From the time I got here, man, you cannot believe how much Troy has talked about you. But when I got to meet you, I was like, okay, I see it. I see
yes,
it, I hear it, I feel it. So we're going to have a long, long time together, man. So looking
Yes,
forward
sir.
to it. Can't wait to see you tomorrow.
Can't wait. Yes, sir. All right, Coach.
Enjoy it with your family, man.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
All right, bye.
And there you have it. That's Asar Thompson being welcomed to the Detroit Pistons by Monty and Troy. And one thing that stood out in that clip that you don't really hear a lot, you heard Troy kind of hint at it, but what Monty said, Troy has told me a ton about you. He was excited to have you. Like what Troy thinks of Asar, it's funny because at this point we now know Troy has loved Asar for quite some time. It's not just something that came out of nowhere, and that's why the comments when Troy says, "I want to hit long balls. I don't want to just bunt. I want to go for the fences." What do you take away from something like that?
Well, first of all, and this is an obvious one, I hope Troy is right. I hope that Asar Thompson obviously rewards the faith that Troy Weaver has in him, because when the pick was first made, it wasn't my first choice, but I didn't hate it either. I would have preferred Taylor Hendricks, but you know what? That's water under the bridge. We obviously both like Asar Thompson's upside, and obviously Troy Weaver does as well. I mean, it's nice when you are the reality of the situation is when you're in a situation that you want to be at, you're going to perform better. You see that all the time with players who get disenfranchised with the teams that they're on, with their coaching staffs, and they don't play as well. They go somewhere else, get a fresh start, and all of a sudden their career just magically gets revitalized. It seems like Asar Thompson is excited to be there. Monty Williams is excited to coach him. Troy Weaver is like, that is my guy that I think he would have picked at almost any level in the draft, no matter where he was at, except if he was maybe 1, 2, or 3. But at the same time, they're all excited. It's an exciting time. And Asar Thompson, I think that maybe not this year, but moving forward will definitely end up being a good pick. And this year alone will definitely help with their wing defense. I mean, the Pistons really needed to clean that up, and Asar Thompson at the very least is going to do wonders for that, I think.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, shout out to Ashton, the trainer, too, my guy. He says tapped in while on the flight to Vegas. He's going to watch the Summer League games.
Hey.
Ashton will be there. I'm sure the Cunningham family with Ashton as well. So appreciate you, Ashton, for taking the time to join us, man. Good luck out there. Hope you guys have fun. And again, we'll be tuning in. We'll be locked into the Summer League. But again, it is what it is. I say this, and I'm pretty consistent with this. I don't take a lot from the Summer League. We know Henry Ellenson had quite a Summer League.
He was terrible.
We've seen guys, Austin Day, have a Summer League. Like, I don't take a ton away from Summer League, but it is just nice to just watch basketball. Watch the new players that are now part of the Pistons. And speaking of one of those players, Marcus Sasser, now a Detroit Piston. And this is a common theme with Marcus and with Asar as well. Both guys want to be in Detroit. That's what I take away. And Asar mentioned that. And check out this Marcus Sasser clip, because it'll be a very similar thing.
We just confirmed with Troy.
No, he said they're taking deals. I just talked.
So they're not taking.
Yeah.
So now,
but somebody could be trying to get in to get.
Very good picks, and they're not.
They're going to go to another deal if we don't. Okay, we got it. Yeah, we're in. We're on the clock now.
We're on the clock now. Yeah.
Okay, you can turn it in for us.
The Memphis Grizzlies select Marcus Sasser from the University of Houston.
Marcus Sasser is a 3-level scorer.
That was pretty cool though. That was a fourth quarter timeout. G was like, he's about to go the other way. Like, holy smokes.
That was good.
Get him, please.
No.
I just love when you get to see the inside of war rooms on draft night and the team be excited. You know, can we get him? Are we going to be able to get him? They finally get him. Like, the process of that happening. It's like Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Lions when Brad was like sitting there worried, and Dan's like, hey, we're going to get him. We're going to get him. And they eventually got Amon-Ra St. Brown. Same thing here. I love Marcus Sasser. I'm excited for both Ausar and Marcus. Ashton chiming in now, speaking some facts, as usual. He says Thompson is scary, athletic. Sasser is the man. I'm excited to see Marcus Sasser. I know Ausar is the obvious one, but Marcus Sasser is somebody that I think in Summer League could break out. What does that mean? Who cares? But it is nice to see that. I think Marcus Sasser, throughout the season, will carve a rollout for himself with the Pistons. And I just want to say both these clips are from the Detroit Pistons, Under the Hood on YouTube. Just want to give credit. But Marcus Sasser, excited to be in Detroit, Sam.
100%. And Marcus Sasser has a set of skills that Ausar Thompson still, we don't know if he has yet, is Marcus Sasser is a proven and ready-made three-point shooter, and he is an absolute pest and irritant on defense. I know he's a backup point guard. I know he doesn't necessarily have great size, but the Pistons having point guard depth, I think their point guard depth with Monty Morris and Marcus Sasser, they're at least going to be able to shoot the three ball very well. That is definitely very exciting. And when you're a lower first round draft pick, I think obviously he seems happy to be in Detroit, and that is amazing. But it's also the thrill of being drafted, because when you're not one of those projected lottery picks, I'm sure at some point, and I know this may be a little bit too far, but you start to question, am I going to be a first-round draft pick? Am I even going to get drafted at all? We've seen players fall out of the entire draft that were projected at one point to be in the first round. That actually happened to a guy that we know very, very well as Pistons fans, Christian Wood. Do you remember when that happened to him? And there was that image of him basically looking despondent at the draft, knowing he hadn't been drafted, and he carved out a career for himself. So just the fact that Marcus Sasser, with the set of skills he has, being excited to be drafted, being excited to be a Piston, I think he's a guy that can contribute a lot this year, and I think he's a guy that could be an important piece of this team when they win with his three-point shooting and his defense. I mean, that's what the Pistons need.
Both of these guys are certified dogs. Like Ashton says, Sasser picks up full court. He's right. Like Sasser, yes. And I think the mentality that Sasser and Ausar approach the game is what Troy, what Monty want. Guys that, again, for Marcus more so, can shoot the ball, but both are tenacious defenders, and I think day one can make an impact. But you know who can make an impact day one as well is Guardian Alarm. Don't sleep on what they can do for your house in protection, because they got customized solutions from real experts. They got 24/7 professional monitoring, and they got technology backed by people. All you got to do, very simple, call 1-800-STAY-OUT and secure your protection today. I repeat, that's call 1-800-STAY-OUT and remind them that your friends at Woodward Sports sent you.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
How about that rookie? He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here at WoodwardSports.com. Thanks so much for tuning in with us all morning here at Woodward Sports. Whether you're watching on the website or watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe and get in the chat and get involved to get some emotes going in there. And follow us on all social media at Woodward Sports. But now it's time for a Friday edition of What's Trending. What's trending? What's going on? Let's figure it out before we go into the weekend and take some of these facts as you go and you're socializing this weekend on the lake or at a barbecue, wherever you may be going. Here's some facts to get you going for your weekend. So, topic number 1. Victor Wembanyama's security guard decked Britney Spears in Vegas. Whew.
Yeah, well, I don't know, the headline, when you hear it, it's like, what the hell? The most random, duo ever. I mean, Victor Wembanyama and then Britney Spears.
I thought this was fake.
Well, I didn't know what to make of it when I first read it, because TMZ comes out with all this BS all the time, and you see this article, Victor Wembanyama security guard slaps Britney Spears, and I'm like, what? How in the hell does that even happen? And then you read the article, and apparently she came up behind Victor, tried to get his attention. I'm assuming she assumed, hey, I'm Britney Spears, I'm going to go say hi to Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
But, it's pretty normal. Security guard was not having it. I don't know why. I don't know how you can't recognize Britney Spears. I don't want to throw whoever it is under the bus, but I don't think she's a threat. She's like, what, 5'7"?
She's 5'3".
Okay, well, that's even worse.
She's 5'3", and he's what, 7'5"?
Oh, God, she posted this on her
She's
story.
5'3", and he's 7'5"?
Yes.
So this statement comes after he made a statement during the Summer League. So he was on camera and made a statement, said that she grabbed him, and she's saying, I didn't grab him, I tapped him, and he kind of laughed off the whole situation, and she found it very disrespectful and has now taken to Instagram. They've also filed charges that this did happen with the police. There's a whole police report, everything. I think this is getting blown way. I mean, okay. Should he have slapped her?
Probably
no.
not. No.
He should have turned around, because there's some reports that the security guard didn't even turn around.
So he just kind of did like the...
Yeah.
Wow. It's like, in this, the most important part of what she said and what Victor's saying is what happened. Did you touch him? Did you grab him? Like, that matters, because if you're... And I get the security's job. You're protecting one of the most popular athletes on planet Earth. Planet Earth, not in the U.S. I'm talking across the globe. One of the most popular athletes. So I get from a security guard's perspective, you can't let anybody get close to this man. Like, because again, he's your responsibility. It's freaking Victor Wembanyama.
And this is the team security guard. This isn't his security guard.
So
this
it's
is
the
team.
Spurs.
So even more so,
he should know who Britney Spears is. Like, I guess that he doesn't have an excuse there. I get both sides, but in no scenario should she have been smacked or whatever it was. Apparently, her glasses fell off her face. I don't know what happened.
Apparently
she's
the
5'3".
slap was like very audible.
Wow.
It was like a "this is Sparta" kick. I don't know what it was, but it was not necessary. I mean, you could. She's 5'3", dude. I'm assuming that if you have a security guard that looks like a security guard, the dude's huge. Like, I don't think you needed to slap her.
How much of a
but
threat
whatever.
was she really?
It is what it is.
Also, what's with her saying? Apparently, she was saying this is effing America. After the fact, and this is just a Britney Spears thing. She's so quirky, but I was like, what?
And William Rhodes also makes a good point. He says just because someone's 5'3" doesn't mean they can't be armed. Like, I get that part of it. You can't trust anybody.
Great point.
But like, I understand. See, it's hard. I understand both sides, but it's Britney Spears, dude. Unless she's packing. I don't think she is. But
maybe
you never know.
She was unrecognizable,
or maybe she was bald Britney Spears with the umbrella. You remember that? We all remember that.
If it's that Britney Spears, you run for your life. So I don't know. Regardless,
but apparently there is no.
What'd you say, JB?
I'm just surprised she even knew who Victor Wembanyama was.
She said that she's a fan. That she's a fan and wanted to congratulate him on his recent success.
That's random.
I mean, okay, I get that, but really, like, you couldn't just like make sure you get a message to him. Like, you have to go up to him, like, "Hey, Victor, I wish you success." I don't know, and I don't think it was.
I think as a celebrity, don't you look at the situation and go, "Yeah, maybe I handled it wrong," because I wouldn't want someone coming up behind me and tapping or grabbing or touching me or whatever.
She knows what it's like to be scrutinized everywhere.
And she even said, she was like, I was swarmed by a bunch of fans going into the Aria Hotel. But then she added, but my security didn't slap anyone.
And also, by the way, speaking of the NBA, Ashton says, Cade says, "What's up, man?" Shout out to Cade. I cannot wait for this man to get on the court this season. He's winning Most Improved Player. Book it.
Yes,
book it.
I already said it on air.
Yeah.
23, 6, and 7, 48% shooting, 35% from 3. Those are Cade Cunningham's. That's my numbers prediction for him this year.
Stop sleeping on that man. Just do it. All right.
All right, moving on from this face-off. A little relationship news. Haley Steinfeld and Josh Allen have been spotted getting steamy in Mexico.
Ooh. Josh Allen.
So recently, last couple of months, we found out that Josh Allen broke up with his high school sweetheart and was reportedly started dating Steinfeld in May. And after a couple of pictures have come out, paparazzi pictures, we now have these that I would say pretty much confirm that they are together. So there you have it.
I don't know who the hell that is. The woman. I don't. Haley Steinfeld.
I never knew that I was starving till I tasted
Oh, that's her?
you.
She's also
that's her.
That's her.
Yeah, also on Pitch Perfect. Good call,
JD.
JD.
Okay, she can sing. Now I'll say this. Every at least male athlete, you at least see this a lot with guys where they have a relationship. It's cute, it's nice, good for him. But for whatever reason, these guys get a bag and they get exposure. And for whatever reason, that relationship just kind of doesn't work out because of the options that Josh Allen's exposed to. I don't know the specifics, but you don't get too many, situations where, like a Savannah LeBron or a Vanessa Kobe where two people are together forever. Well, you get what I'm saying. All right, I'm not trying to. I get what you mean, but still, people that have been together from the beginning to the end, it typically doesn't happen.
I mean, Russell Wilson did the same thing. He had
Russell's a great example.
Russell Wilson, and now he's with Sierra. I mean, go ahead.
You know who I have hope for? Jack Campbell. I have hope that Jack Campbell will stay with his.
I feel like all Jack needs is like a cabin in the woods, and he's fine.
Yeah.
Josh Allen might be a little more Hollywood, where he's big time now. He's got options. So good for him, I guess. Live your life.
Next up, Kobe Bryant will once again be on the cover of NBA 2K24. This is his 4th time being on the cover.
Rightfully deserved. Absolutely. They have the Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba edition, all that. But anytime you could show love to Kobe, man, I'm all for it. So no issue. Now, is this 2K going to be good? Who knows? They say it every year. It's the same damn game. So we'll see. But I love that Kobe's on it. I do. I love it. If it was up to me, I'd put Kobe on every damn cover every single year.
That's a little bit too much, Jeff. Every single year?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, for the 11th best basketball player of all time. I mean, I'm just
11th.
This is more of a memoriam opportunity than a.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you think 11th best player, you got to head over to Dispo. You do, man. I'm sorry, you got to head over to Dispo. But I'm cool with it. I like Kobe.
No, I obviously grew up watching Kobe. Obviously, it was a very, very sad day when he passed away. I get paying tribute to him. But you said every single 2K.
I'm cool, yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah,
no Michael
Kobe
Jordan, no LeBron James, no any of that. Just Kobe on every single one so that his crazy psychopathic fans can even hype him up even more. I hate Kobe fans. Like Kobe, like the Kobe crazies, like the cult of Kobe, the members of Kobe Stan. I'm not a fan of those.
Actually, this is a good point by Brandon Katz. I can't believe I'm saying that. He says they don't want to put Jokic on the cover. I didn't even think Jokic should be on the cover if you think about it, because it's always typically, the most, marquee player or the best player, however you want to phrase it. Jokic should be on the cover, but my point is, anything to remember Kobe, to keep Kobe in relevancy with especially a 2K cover, I'm all for it. But yeah, Brandon Katz. You get one for that one. Good one.
That's a stretch. That never happens.
Yeah, no, it's solid. Jokic should be on the cover. He is right.
We have some more relationship rumors. Kim Kardashian and Tom Brady.
I hate this, man. Oh my gosh, dude. Kim is for the streets. She's for the streets. JB, what's going on? Like, okay, you who it's like every time I see Kim and somebody else, it's rumored they're flirting. It's like, okay, it's Friday, it's July 7th. Okay, it's another day. It's nothing's new. Tom Brady, and for Tom, to be honest with you, get back at your wife. Okay, and by the way, I don't know the specifics of that relationship either, but all I know is his wife, ex-wife now, has already got a new man. Like, she moved on pretty quickly. She's got some dude, some jiu-jitsu instructor.
Yeah.
Tom, go get with Kim. Not saying it's a good idea, but at least for clout, it's a way to get back at her.
Don't do it, Tom. Don't do it.
I will say this, and this is where people might disagree with me. I think Kim Kardashian is actually, even though I agree she's for the street, she is a looks upgrade over Giselle.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But
Kim K's got the curves, man.
Yeah, hey, Tom, this ain't her first rodeo. So
that's also true.
So this rumor
you're getting in line, buddy.
It was sparked up again because they were seen at the white party flirting together a little bit. So I guess we'll see where that ends up going.
Yeah, I feel like she flirts with every single man she comes across. So I don't know what to believe. I don't.
I mean, let her have some fun.
Yeah, go off.
She was married to Kanye West.
Do your thing. I know. It's like, and then she's with Pete Davidson, and now she's with Tom Brady, and now she'll be with Sam Flannel next. I don't know what's going on.
Clearly, she doesn't have a type, but that's okay. Before we get into mailbag,
JB? Hold on, JB. She might be your type.
I don't know about that.
No,
I don't know about that.
He's more of a T-Swift kind of guy.
Yeah, he's a T-Swift guy.
No disrespect to Kim K, though. She is thick, though. But
she's very
still.
thick.
Yeah, JB, you're too good for her.
She's for the streets, like you said, Jeff. I don't know. Just giving Kanye just ammo for the next album, the next song.
Some guys
Brady.
just ain't got no type, as Ray Sremmerd would say. I am not going to finish that. Bad women is the only thing that I like because I'm a respectful man. But that's not. They don't say women.
And Benji says her type is clout. That's fair. That's fair.
Truth. So wrapping up, just want to give you a heads up as to what sports events are going on this weekend. The John Deere tournament is happening this weekend. Blixt is currently leading at 9 under. The U.S. Women's Open is also happening at Pebble Beach. Play continues through Sunday. Wimbledon, obviously today you saw that with trivia. You can catch all of the Wimbledon matches starting at 6 a.m. Eastern time on ESPN. This will continue through next weekend. And then you have the NBA Summer League going on, kicking off, and the Pistons will play Orlando for their first game on Saturday.
Wait, you said the John Deere what?
Thank you, because I was like,
no, we
it's
just
a golf
over
tournament.
That. It's a golf tournament?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh. No, I thought it was gonna be like a tractor racing. I'm like,
That's
what are we
what
doing,
they
dude?
They race
Are we out of
tractors?
sports? You gotta race tractors, JB? Okay, I'm glad I wasn't the only one that.
I was like, they race tractors? Really?
I was gonna
John
say.
Deere Classic.
Okay,
Never
all
heard
right,
of it.
that's fair.
Classic.
I'm fine with golf. I didn't know if we were racing tractors because I was about to be pissed off.
That's
but
part of the
we're
tour.
good. Now we got mailbag. Can't wait. But before we do that, I got to tell you what Sam's smoking if he thinks Joe Burrow's overrated. And that's Dispo, because you can experience the true meaning of exceptional cannabis products with Dispo Dispensary. Indulge in the finest selection of cannabis curated with care. With over 10 locations, Dispo is never far away. Visit DispoShops.com today and unlock a world of endless possibilities in the realm of cannabis. That is DISPO Shops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here at woodwardsports.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. We are so happy to have you here, kicking off your weekend with us. It's Friday. You've made it. You just got to get through one more day of work. We hope we made your morning easier. Follow us on all social media at Woodward Sports. Tune in at 11 a.m. for Big D Energy, 2 p.m. for Ermanni and Edwards with Mads, and 5 p.m. for the Woodward Heavyweights. But it's mailbag time, so drop your questions in the chat. We want to hear you. And let's get to it.
Let's get to some of these questions now. Again, mailbag. Steve-O says, Jeff, can you see Cade and Ivy going to be All-Stars next season? I don't think Ivy will be an All-Star next season. I think Cade can certainly be, depending on what the Pistons do. He'll put up All-Star numbers, but you have to remember, All-Star, making the All-Star team, a little bit of that has to do with records. So if they win 30-ish games and Cade's putting up 23, 24, 7, and 7 on pretty good shooting splits, as the defender we know he is, there's no doubt in my mind he should be an all-star. And I've been consistent with Cade. I mean, I've raised my blood pressure too much, arguing why he should be Rookie of the Year, and I rest my case there. But I do think he'll have all-star numbers, but they got to win some games.
Yeah, it's one of my predictions that Cade Cunningham will be an all-star this year. I think people have forgotten about him. I don't know why, but he will show people. He will show what a difference he makes when he is on the court, and you'll see it in the win column. You most certainly will. Cade Cunningham will be an all-star next year. I'm predicting it.
Tony says, or actually I'll get to some questions before that. Sports on Air, mailbag, Jeff and Sam, who are your favorite WWF, WWE wrestlers? Well, I'll speak quickly on this because I haven't watched the WWE the last probably I would say 8-9 years, because I love the WWF and the WWE. That's what I grew up on with my older brothers, and I was a huge fan of the WWE before I got into the UFC, and now I'm 100% in on the UFC. I'll tune into the WWE sometimes. JB would be able to speak on that more than me. But all-time favorite wrestlers, I would say, at least when I was growing up, it was Stone Cold. A little bit of John Cena in there. I had my own belt, my John Cena belt as well, Rey Mysterio. Those are the guys I grew up on. I would say my favorite out of the bunch, at least I had the most merchandise of Rey Mysterio, so I'll go with him. I'll go with Rey.
I'm the wrong person to ask that question. I don't like wrestling at all. JB, what about you?
Well, definitely growing up is Stone Cold and The Rock from WWF, but WCW, I was all about the NWO, black and white.
Yeah. No, JB, that's his expertise. You met... so you went to LCA, the event they had, what, a couple months ago?
Yeah, for AEW event.
That was
I
AEW.
actually got to meet both the Hardy Boys, so Jeff and Matt Hardy. They were outside, so hung out with them for a second, me and John. And
see, JB's kind of under the radar Hollywood. He's linking in with some AEW guys. Look at JB, man. He's big time now. I love it. I love him, man. He deserves it.
Griffin wants to know, can Jeff beat Gabby at golf?
Dude, I don't think I could beat anybody at this company in golf. I don't even know. I think Fish would beat me. I'm serious. Like, I watched Fish golf one time. He was at the driving range. He ain't bad. Like, Fish could beat me. And that's not even an insult. I'm just not good. So.
I do have to say with the follow-up, who is the best golfer at Woodward? I think Alex.
Oh, yeah, easily. Yeah. I'm going Alex. But besides Alex, because he's the easy one, I would say Neil. I like Neil.
Yeah.
Role. Neil's, like, sneaky. He doesn't talk much. Have you golfed with Neil? Okay, so I don't know what. I've never been there or seen him, but I know Neil. You know those guys that like. What'd you say?
Yeah, D-Mac golfs a lot.
Up there too. Is D-Mac up there too?
We're gonna see. He's gonna be on an episode of the Celebrity Golf Tour, and we'll find out.
Yeah, Big D probably has the best golf show, like talent-wise.
For sure.
But I've seen Neil's the type of guy, and whenever somebody like doesn't gloat about their game, I always look at that person like, this guy's good. Like, Neil's always like, I do all right, I do fine, and then he shows us his scores, and we're like, yeah, that's pretty damn good.
I believe Neil actually got recruited to play in college, not D1 or anything like that. So,
but I don't want to gas him up too much. Neil's too Hollywood. Neil is the fancy schmancy Hollywood Neil, so we can't let that information out. But I believe it. He's good. He's good at golf. I can't deny it. Booner says, Jeff, how much security do you have to walk around in Birmingham?
Let's just say if I were to tap Jeff on the shoulder, somebody would more than slap me. I would be laid out onto the ground. Attack.
Jesus.
Listen, I'm not like, I don't got like a posse like Victor Wembanyama. I don't even have security, dude. Like, that's the most and there's people, and I don't want to name names, but there's a Lions player specifically that walks around these parks guarded up with security. It's Birmingham, bro. Like, like the worst thing that's gonna happen to you is you'll see a homeless guy ask for $1. Like, you'll be all right.
The homeless guy's wearing a Rolex.
Yeah, exactly. And the homeless guy will be wearing a Rolex, asking you for $1. Let's see here.
I saw in here what percentage is the chance. What's the chance? Wow, what percentage that the DeBrincat trade happens today? And I'm saying 89% chance that the trade happens today. Wow. If it doesn't happen end of day today, it will happen by Monday afternoon. But I'm going to put it out there that I did say yesterday that the contract termination was going to happen yesterday at 12. And what happened yesterday at 12? That contract termination.
We should have given you your credit sooner.
Yeah, the Zadina stuff was spot on. I think that moving on from Zadina, having a little more capital to work with now, at least more money, it just seems like it's the Red Wings' trade to lose. Like, it's Steve Yzerman's trade to lose. I would assume, and that at least it's being reported, it's the Red Wings and one other mystery team. The Islanders are kind of still like half in, half out. Yeah. To me, it's the Red Wings. Or it 100% has to be. And I think Stevie, the reason why he's taking so long is you'll see when the compensation.
He has his contract terms, and they have to agree to it. He's not budging.
So people freaking out. I think it will get done. I do. I have 100%. I'll say percentage. I'll say 85%. 90%. It gets done. I don't know the time frame, but it will. I believe that.
Hope you guys are both right.
It'll make the offseason much more more pleasant. There's no argument there. We're 2 minutes over. We got to go here. Again, appreciate every single one of you for taking time out of your Friday to tune into the Morning Woodward Show. Before you leave, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I just want to say, from Jeff, Iafrate, Sam, JB, Gabby, Alex, we thank you for taking the time. And again, stick around. Big D Energy, 11-1. Neil's out today.
Neil's
out today,
Terry
yeah.
Foster and Lindsey Hunter.
Wow.
It's going to be an interesting Big D Energy today. You're going to want to tune in.
So it's probably 98% Pistons. All right. We'll see you guys later. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday. Lucas will be back.